Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto Super Devil Highschool DxD. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by LUCKYBASTARD6969 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Leaves were rustling in the soundless summer evening breeze. A mop of yellow blonde hair was seen in the setting with a pair of gardening tools, pruning the plants around Kuo Academy with complete dedication and sincerity. How good it feels when all those annoying brats leave for home. Seriously, can't those little shits stay silent while they are here? Naruto was minding his own business and tending to the plant life around Kuo as a part of his job. He came to this world after he had left his previous one. He lived a happy and fulfilling life there. However, he knew that you have to run like a bitch if people started worshipping you like you were God. Seclusion didn't help, nope, those bastards always tracked him after a few years of searching. Therefore, new world it is. He decided. Now that I think about it, I was being stupid for not laying out the proper coordinates for a world. Well, I guess it didn't help when even I didn't know where I was going. Thought Naruto. Contemplating the past, Hubrat said a voice in his head. Well, look who finally decided to wake up. Had a good night's sleep, furball. Oh fuck you. You little shit. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even be here. I had to expend nearly 99% of my chakra just so you could pass through dimensions with your full body intact. Said the voice to Naruto telepathically. Yeah, you already told me that a gajillion times, Kurama. Then again, it sure has been a while since we came here to this world. Thought Naruto. He looked at the pine tree before him and thought, now what to do with you sonny. When Naruto crashed into this world, he had been completely clueless as to where he was. Well, he should be, duh. He was in a new world. However, his arrival didn't go unnoticed as he discovered quickly someone had come to where he is. He quickly hid in the forest nearby and went into sage mode so that he could avoid detection and at the same time, do some reconnaissance of his own. However, it was at that exact moment he found out that this world was about to be fucked up as nature was holding in plenty of negative emotions. His body sweated a lot when he was in sage mode feeling nature's wrath and started to fight for control of his mind while purifying the natural energies. When he felt his pursuers leave without finding anything, he quickly left sage mode to find that the surroundings around him had become a little greener with life. He didn't tarry for long there and left the area, supposing that there is a chance that his pursuers might come back. He left for the city or in the direction of the place where he felt the population was high and with the ability of shadow clones, he quickly found a library to take up knowledge of the world he was in. Luckily, the language the people of this world spoke was almost the same as the one of his original world. This accelerated his progress and thus he crammed his head with all the basic knowledge. History, science, technology, culture, math, religion, mythology, legends you name it. Once he had enough information about the world, he quickly forged his basic details to survive in this world with the help of some basic ninjutsu he learned while he was still in his own world, or he had to learn it as it was still a prerequisite for a shinobi to be a kage. After identity, money became a problem, but that was quickly resolved when he saw a newspaper ad that a school named after this town called Kuo Academy was hiring some gardeners. It also stated that the residential requirements for the workers will be taken care of, along with basic necessities. Naruto knew a good deal when he saw one. He ran like the wind towards the school after asking for directions from the locals. The principal he met was a weird guy, but still gave Naruto the green light and thus commenced Naruto's life as a gardener. It also helped that Naruto wasn't a complete clueless idiot when it came to plants as gardening was one of his hobbies aside from training. There were some bumps here and there at the beginning, but it all came to pass. So, 5 years had come and passed since then. His 128th birthday had just come to pass, but he still looked like a 28-year-old. He sported a beard on his face, and his shaggy hair had been cut down to make his head look like a trimmed LAWN Naruto's look in Boruto. However, the most noticeable difference was that he sported a huge belly. Naruto looked down to see his appearance and sighed. Well, that's what happens when you don't get a proper workout. And whose fault is that? Said Kurama. Well, I can't burn the amount of energy required as I store a lot as you know it. If I work out seriously then it would start looking suspicious. Besides, there is no need for me to train. I'm not trying to attract any ladies nor am I fighting with someone here. I'm retired. Whined Naruto mentally admonishing his oldest friend. HMPH snorted Kurama and went back to sleep. Naruto smiled at his friend and looked at the plant before him. Now then, do this and do that, and this thought Naruto while doing his work when a voice interrupted his work. Good evening. Said a voice that sounded like a girl. Arias. Don't interrupt me like that. I could have made a terrible mistake you know. Said Naruto. Sorry. I just couldn't help it. Said Riaz while giving him a playful grimory giggle. She was 17 years old with unusual crimson red hair and a bombshell body. Her hair only heightened her beauty, giving her the title as one of Kuo's two great one-isama. So, how has your day been, dear? Asked Naruto. It is fine, but the history classes were boring as hell. Said Riaz with a bored look on her face. Ha ha ha, so Mr. Yamada bored you to death with his history lessons, did he? Too bad, you go to school, you have to suffer, joked Naruto. Riaz gave him a deadpan look as she said, jackass. Why, you little brat? Said Naruto with a mock-angry face. However, Riaz just merely laughed in response. Anyways, I have to leave for home now. I'll speak with you more tomorrow, Mr. Naruto. Said Riaz and hurried off. Alright then, take care. Said Naruto and resumed doing his work. It has been like this for the past 5 years for Naruto ever since he joined Kuo as the resident gardener. Life had been pretty mundane with no interesting things popping up. There had been some close calls where he had to reveal his secrets, but luck smiled upon him and he didn't have to. He finished off his gardening work and went to his usual spot unknown to anyone but him. He sat down and went into sage mode and started purifying the natural energy around him. It had been his daily duty for the past 5 years to do this here and there whenever he could. To restore the plant life and ease the wrath of nature. When he felt that one place had become too concentrated, he quickly switched off to another one before anyone noticed. Once that was done, his duties in the school were over and thus he was left to his own devices. He strolled around the school when he came into contact with them. Of course they are up to it again, aren't they? Thought Naruto. Why is it that wherever you go, some kind of pervert always follows into your life? Asked Kurama, shaking his head in disappointment. What can I say? I ask this question to myself every day since I came into this world. Thought Naruto as he pitied himself. However, a smile did creep onto his face soon enough. But still, let's play with them for old time's sake. What Naruto noticed was none other than the infamous perverted trio of Kuo, or so had they come to being called, ever since they arrived at school the year before. The threesome were laughing pervertedly while spying on the kendo club changing clothes. Naruto sneaked up on them and decided to lay a trap by their legs and shouted out. Watch out, girls, peeping Toms over here. Ah. What the? Son of a. The three stepped on a rope that pulled them up and were immediately caught upside down from a tree, with each of them hanging from it individually. Man, what the hell, Naruto? Why did you do that? Shouted Issei Haidu. Not cool, man. Not cool. Said Motohama. You are gonna get us killed, man, let us outta here, added Mitsuda. Oh, I am sorry, how many times do I have to tell you not to spy on women while in school, especially using the bushes here? Do you know how many times I got into trouble just cause you three decided to take advantage of me growing them thick? I made it like that so that it avoids peering eyes from looking over, not to help you guys perv. Said Naruto with fury in his eyes, which made the three falter. Not this time you are going to suffer. Naruto left the place while leaving a note, a shinai, and a piece of cloth. The kendo girls who arrived on the scene found the boys tied upside down and found the note that read. Have fun, girls, this is a surprise present from me. You know what to do with the articles I left behind. The girls knew who gave them this as they figured out from his voice when he shouted. Caddis, the kendo club captain, announced. Alright girls, we'll be playing hit the pervs now. Anyone who can land a solid hit on any one of the three while blindfolded will be the ultimate winner. Let the games begin. Oh, yeah. Any place counts. Holy, shouted all three of them, but they couldn't complete their sentence as the game had already started. Ah. Ouch. Ew. Not the balls. On my face. On my back. You will pay for this, Naruto. Shouted the three. Naruto, by then, had already moved to town. He was feeling a wee bit thirsty, so he decided to have a drink. He made a stop at an old bar. It was poorly lit with few customers who were keeping to themselves. He went up to the counter and ordered. Give me some sake, please. One for me too. Said another voice. Naruto turned to see a sleek and handsome man who looked about 30 and had unusual brown hair which ended with blonde bangs. Coming right up. Said the bartender before he went back to get some sake. The two men didn't talk and waited for their drinks. Once the bartender arrived with their drinks, they started drinking them and quickly finished them off. Ah, nothing beats a warm sake after, said the man. A hard day's work. Personally, I would have it in a warm bath to the boot. Said Naruto while grinning at the man. The man looked at Naruto with a raised eyebrow and grinned. Well, it seems, my friend, that you and I have very similar tastes. The name's Azazel. Said the now identified Azazel, who gestured his hand forward for a handshake. Naruto Uzumaki, at your service. Said Naruto before reciprocating his hand in return. Fish cake. Your parents must have a real good liking of ramen. Said Azazel while joking about Naruto's name. It's supposed to mean maelstrom, but being named after a ramen topping isn't all that bad either. It's the food of the gods, I tell ya," said Naruto before he refilled Azazel's glass with another round of sake. Azazel did the same for Naruto and said, "Well, here's one hoping for a good life. And a merry one," added Naruto as they said. "Panpai. Panpai." Both of them downed their drinks for some time. They talked more like jabbered while drunk, each telling their woes of working to death. "Well, it's been a wonderful time," Naruto said a drunk Azazel whose words were slurred due to the alcohol affecting his head. "Heck it has," said Naruto while wondering why Kurama still hadn't detoxified his system of the alcohol's downing effects on his brain. However, he didn't complain as he had a good time with his new pal. "Heck so long Thien Pal I hick gotta go no. We'll see each hick other Tomerlo," said Azazel who walked out in the opposite direction and called up somebody as far as Naruto could tell. "So long," shouted a drunk Naruto who took his own time walking around the block before he went back to his quarters on his own by a miracle. He slept like a drunk would and woke up the next morning with a hangover. However, he couldn't help but grin about the evening's passings as he finally found someone who could be a good drinking buddy. Though what baffled him was Kurama who had stayed silent the entire evening finally spoke. "You should be wary of him, Naruto. The man was hiding something." "What do you mean, Kurama?" asked Naruto with a serious look as Kurama never lied to him and he had always trusted the old fox. "I don't know what I felt, but whoever he was powerful and at the same time had some mixture of light and dark energy in him. That's why I couldn't detoxify you yesterday," said Kurama. "So you were afraid that he would detect you, eh?" asked Naruto while understanding why his friend didn't help him last night. Kurama nodded his head and further added, "Though he didn't have any ill intentions when he was speaking to you, I would advise caution in the future." "Agreed," said Naruto as he was no longer the immature brat he once was. Time and circumstances had matured the blonde. Well, it should have, considering he was well over 100 years old. "I'll keep that in mind while meeting him later tonight," said Naruto, taking Kurama's warning into his mind. "On a side note, why didn't you do it later on after I left?" asked Naruto with a confused gaze. "Just too lazy to do it. Besides, I wanted to experience a little pain," said Kurama. "Asshole," said Naruto cutting the link. Naruto once again proceeded with his daily rituals from morning till evening, but the most unusual thing that happened during the day was one of the perverts, Issei, had come hand in hand with a girl who he proclaimed as his girlfriend. Naruto only looked stumped at how Issei could score a chick in the first place. However, Naruto did notice that the girl in question had ulterior motives by the look in her eyes. She set off all kinds of alarms in his brain. Though he didn't bother about it too much and merely warned a baffled Issei to be careful and went on his jolly way. Once again Naruto met up with Azazel who invited his newfound friend conversation partner drinking buddy to a table and once again they drank till late in the night before they had the same kind of conversation. "Hick so luung hick friend," said Azazel while trying to control the hiccups. "Suo luung Paul," said Naruto whose words were slurred. He started moving towards Kuo while swaying around. The passing by civilians he met with on the way cursed at him. "Drunken fool. Should put this ass in jail for public nuisance. What a waste." But Naruto paid no heed to their muttering and made his way to the park near school. He made his way towards the benches, assuming that the police should have already patrolled this area. He rested his heads on the benches and began to lay down while looking drowsy. However, a noise disturbed his sleep. He woke up from the sound and looked to what it was. What the hell was that? Thought Naruto while still maintaining his drunken stupor. He saw Issei on the floor, bleeding through his chest with a huge gaping hole in it. Naruto sighed at the loss of life. He saw the condition Issei was in and knew that he couldn't do anything to help the poor kid. He looked for the person who killed him and saw it was a girl wearing some kind of dominatrix-like attire. Though he did recognize her face. It was the same girl Issei had introduced as her girlfriend this morning. He looked at her and asked. "Like, why did you kill the poor kid?" asked Naruto with anger evident on his face but turned out to be comical as his face showed he was drunk. "Oh, a mortal was hiding, huh, a drunk fool no less. You are that gardener in this boys' high school, aren't you? You should have slept, fool. Nevertheless, you witnessed something you shouldn't have. So, collateral damage I suppose," said Rainier who summoned a light spear and threw it at Naruto. Naruto dodged the incoming light spear with a wavy sidestep. Rainier, surprised at this, formed more light spears and threw them at Naruto who dodged them very professionally in a drunk manner that resembled that like the drunken martial arts of Rock Lee. He then went forward and gave Rainier a punch to the gut. He said. "No hick young lady hick, you better jet out of my sight," said drunk Naruto. "You drunk ape. I am going to kill you where you stand," said Rainier while moving forward with a summoned light spear. "Yau live hick miri no kois," slurred Naruto. He then gave a sharp knife hand to her heart, effectively killing her. One blow. That was all it took. Rainier couldn't fathom what happened as she died with her eyes wide open, with a look of shock still present on her. "Ah, and there go Isanu the one," said Naruto as he removed his bloodied hand from her chest. He looked at the bloody mess that was his hand and frowned as he waved it a bit. Blood splattered on the floor, but it was no longer present on Naruto's hands. Though, it did stain his clothing. He then turned back to look at Issei, who was practically missing. He sharpened his eyes and his senses to look for the boy. He had wanted to bury his body, to give the poor guy's soul some solace, if it existed in the first place. Though he soon picked up Issei's life signature at a distance, which he assumed to be his house. However, it was slightly different from what it was before. "We lal that matter is the kid's alive," thought Naruto, who then moved on from the place, back to Kuo. "You always get involved in some deep shit, don't you?" said Kurama. "Hurry Ama hick my furry friend, here come give me his hug," said Naruto, moving in to hug his furry friend in his mindscape. "Get off me, you drunk ape. Hold still while I take this alcohol out of your system." Bonk, said Naruto, and started to move much better and was able to form coherent thoughts much more easily than before. Still, it's been a rough night. Wonder what's in store for tomorrow though. Better have some of that Ichiraku's I had sealed up, thought Naruto while quickly moving away from the apparent murder spot but not noticing a string of red hair that got caught in his shoes. End. Chapter 2. I'm waking up to ash and dust. I wipe my brow and I sweat my rust. I'm breathing in the chemicals. I'm breaking in, shaping up, then checking out on the prison bus. This is it, the apocalypse. Whoa. I'm waking up, I feel it in my bones. Enough to make my systems blow. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Welcome to the new age, to the new age. Whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 I'm radioactive, radioactive. Whoa, oh, 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 whoa, oh, 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 I'm radioactive, radioactive. Was it weird to have a song like this as your alarm on your phone? No, at least for Naruto it wasn't. The song was still going on in the background when Naruto switched it off. He woke up to see the time on his phone. It showed it was around 5-ish in morning. He got off his bed and did some stretches, all the while contemplating what had happened yesterday. Good thing that he didn't have a hangover like yesterday, as Kurama deemed it fit to detoxify him early on. I knew that there was something fishy going on in this world, but I was never interested in it. Now, why is that trouble always seems to find me when I don't want it to? Thought Naruto while whining mentally about his dilemma. So have you decided to finally confront that retard you hang out with then? Asked Kurama telepathically. Nah, who cares? Rias may be involved in this mess, but still, that doesn't give me enough inclination to be involved in it too, said Naruto. What do you plan to do then? Execute plan GTFO? Asked Kurama. Naruto responded out loud after sipping on his cup of morning milk. What? No. Let it be known that Naruto Uzumaki ain't a scaredy ass bitch. If trouble wants to find me, then let it do so. Your call, brat, said Kurama, disconnecting the link between them. Naruto then thought about what Kurama said about Rias. He knew that something was off about Rias and her little playmates in the occult research club. He can sense that whatever they were definitely not human, as judging by the weird energy they wielded. It was not something common among all humans in the world as he had seen so far. The little girl of the group called Kaneko Taoju even had chakra, which surprised him. He had nearly been caught on more than one occasion by the little minx whenever he used senjutsu near the school, which led him to believe that she's some kind of censor. So he had always taken the precaution of using senjutsu in and near his area only after he believed that she was out of range. He was now thinking about what to do as he wanted to continue his peaceful life here, and with the way things were unfolding, it pretty much spelled disaster. Arg, whatever, let's just think about this later on. I should have known even if I was drunk to mind my own damn business. Thought Naruto, mentally closing off the matter, and continued with his morning rituals. While the academy was not strict about his work timings, they were rather critical of his work as they held some amount of prestige as a nobleman's institute. So even if his work timings were flexible, Naruto had made it a point to divide it into morning and evening sessions where the plants were rather active to do his job. With all the hustle and bustle yesterday, I am surprised that the body of that winged girl wasn't yet found, thought Naruto. I am wondering about the same thing. Though I must say that I am impressed with the way you handled yourself even when you were wasted, said Kurama. Ha. Told you Lee's drunken boxing technique would come in handy one day, said Naruto while acting smugly. Well, I would have believed you then if you weren't trying to chug down 2 barrels of sake just so you could get wasted to train in it. Then you had to go off onto the streets naked yelling about how ramen is the food of the gods and advertising how big your junk is to the whole village while still being Hokage before you started off your training, said Kurama while being indignant at how his host had behaved in public while still being a public figure. Naruto had the decency to blush at that comment as it had been one of his most shameful final years. Yeah, let's not talk about that, shall we? You know I don't want to be reminded of some episodes, Kurama, said Naruto, giving a whine of embarrassment. Kurama stayed silent as he knew that there was more to the matter than just embarrassment. He knew that while Naruto did act shamefully that year, it hadn't been without reason. He had lost a lot of his precious ones by then, and the alcohol eased the pain of loss. Kurama didn't want to go and remind him of the pain once more. The entire morning went through without a hitch. It was around 9 a.m. that students started arriving at the front gates, as school starts at 9:30 in the morning and ends at 4:30 in the evening. After that, it was the after-school club activities that ended at 6 in the evening, with a few exceptions to the rule. Students in Kuo were rather respectful of Naruto as he had, in one way or another, had helped them out during their difficult times. He was like that one uncle you know that was lame but still had his cool moments. Now Naruto was done with his job and was going to report his attendance to the check-in counter for staff, as his wage depends on it. However, a familiar voice interrupted him. "Hey Mr. Naruto. Wait up. I need to talk with you for a second." Naruto looked back to find that it was Yudo Kiba from the Occult Research Club that called him. Naruto grinned and said, "Oh? So what does His Highness Prince Kiba want with me? This humble one shall answer whatever he may asketh," said Naruto while performing a mock bow. Kiba frowned and looked annoyed at Naruto, proving that he didn't like the way he was addressed. "You of all people should know how much I hate that title. That's why it's so funny to see your reactions. Still, if you hate the title so much, why do you not speak against it?" asked Naruto. "That's because it would be pointless to do so and may make it worse than it already is," said Kiba, exasperated at his title. "Very well then, I won't call you with that title anymore," said Naruto. "Thank you," said Kiba, who was at the very least relieved that someone understands, but the next thing he said ruined all he believed. "So what do you need of me, your gayness?" said Naruto. Kiba hit his head with his palm, muttering, "It's hopeless. It won't be if you can relieve my doubt and date a girl. You know that even I am starting to question your sexual orientation when you don't date someone or even look at some girl in passing. All you ever do is look at sword magazines and the males in workout magazines. Hell, even Rias believes that you look like a character straight out from a yaoi fiction," said Naruto while stating facts after facts. Kiba raised his hands to counter the argument but knew that he had lost this battle of words when he couldn't refute his opponent's statements. He sighed and said, "Forget it, call me whatever you want, but let me get to the point. Ria said that she wanted to see you in the Occult Research Club this evening and was hoping if you could free up your schedule." "Lil Red wants to see me? Why?" asked Naruto with a curious look and further added, "If she wanted to talk with me, then all she has to do was come and see me herself. Why did she send you out?" "I don't know. All she said to me was that she wanted to talk in private in the club room. She would normally ask you to come herself, but she's kind of busy now, so that's why she sent me," said Kiba. "Alright, I will see what I can do. 5 sound good?" "Yeah, sure. 5 it is," said Kiba and left for school. Naruto was about to leave once again when he heard the commotion from outside the school gates and he saw something he couldn't believe. Rias was walking with that pervert Issei who had a confused expression. However, Naruto figured out what was going on almost instantaneously. Ah, so Rias was the one who revived him. Guess the kid has some luck in him after all. I wonder how she did it though. Last I heard, reviving the dead wasn't something possible in this world. And moving through alternate dimensions was something of an everyday deal in your world?" asked Kurama in rhetoric. "Well, you know the answer to that question. But still makes me curious as to how she did it, as the kid was dead enough for me to not heal him," thought Naruto. "I believe that all will be answered this evening," said Kurama. "Well, let's hope so," said Naruto, cutting off the link. And so the day had passed quite monotonously, with Naruto doing nothing but sit on his ass all day, either watching the clouds or move to his secret chamber to learn and develop new seals. Sealing was an art he picked up later in his life to continue his Uzumaki legacy. He had all the free time in the world, so he thought why not. And thus he came to learn it, love it, and add his own ideas into the mix, which resulted in the modification of the Horatian formula to cross alternate universes. However, though many believe that he had mastered the art, he believes that there is no true master, as the art of sealing is complex and at the same time endless. New possibilities arise every time with a change in a few formulas. Thus Naruto always makes it a point to study the basics of sealing whenever he can, to get inspiration for a new seal. Other than sealing, Naruto had nothing else to do, as he couldn't find a solution to containing his chakra while training, as even the slightest amount is much larger than the amount let out by the average chunin. Thus he could be detected very easily. The only way he avoided suspicion was growing the belly of his to show that he wasn't all that fit, and to contain his chakra by placing a chakra suppressing seal on his body on top of placing a genjutsu. Though this did help a lot, it did impede his movements a lot more. Quickly the day had passed and Naruto made it a point to complete his work by 4:45 in the evening as not much was required to do today other than mowing the lawn grass. He then made his way to the club after taking a quick bath to wash off the dirt. Once he entered the building though, he felt a prickling sensation on his body. He then noticed a poster on the nearby wall. He quickly tore it off to see a few writings behind it which made no sense to Naruto. Some kind of barrier that prevents whoever it is that is entering by placing them in some kind of illusion, judging by the effects I feel. Thought Naruto. Pretty complex thing they have here, wonder how they did it. Thought Naruto. Heads up brat. Said Kurama. Naruto then turned to his side to find a beautiful raven-haired female waiting on him. He quickly identified her as Akeno Himejima, one of the other two great One-Isama of Kuo Academy, along with Rias. No matter how many times I see it, I still find it astounding, thought Naruto as he looked towards the impossible chest of the female in question. I don't mind here standing and having you stare me here all day, Mr. Naruto, but I believe that Rias is waiting for you. Said Akeno. Naruto blushed at the comment as he remembered what he was here for. Yeah, sorry Akeno, but no matter how many times I see it, I still find it impossible for you and Rias to have a chest that size. Seriously, what do you guys eat to make them so big? Oh? Would you like to test them on yourself, Mr. Naruto asked Akeno while giggling. No, not me, but I know a friend of mine would kill for this information. Said Naruto. Would asked Akeno. She passed away a while back. Said Naruto in a calm manner. Oh. I am sorry for bringing it up, said Akeno while feeling bad. No worries, I have come to terms with it. Said Naruto. Akeno still felt bad and wanted to console him, but what he said next removed all her feelings and threw them to the gutters. May her flat as a floorboard body and her angry and borderline love-obsessed soul rest in peace. Said Naruto, to which Kurama responded. Amen to that. Akeno didn't know whether to laugh at his jab or to cry for the person in question for the way she was remembered but left that topic for another time. The pair both arrived at the club room where Kaneko was sitting on the couch having candy and were soon joined by Issei, who was led by Kiba. Issei was looking very confused about the entire ordeal but immediately threw away all his doubts when he heard the sound of a shower. Ah, it seems Butchu is showering. Please wait for a while until she finishes. Here, take a seat you two. I will prepare some refreshments. Said Akeno. Issei started to comment perversely on the entire thing that's going on while bleeding through his nose like crazy, eliciting a short cry of perv from Kaneko. Naruto looked like the odd one out among the entire club including Issei, as he was clueless as to why he was here in the first place, but had some idea on what was about to happen. Rias took a shower and came into the room while wearing a bathrobe, which earned a reaction from Issei. Woohoo. This has been the best day of my life. However, Naruto looked at Rias with a scrutinizing eye, to which Rias responded by asking. What are you thinking about? In all the time I have spent with you, Rias, I know that you are unlike the way everyone portrays you, as you are a weeb, a Japanophile, and a sucker for dramatic flair, but still I never knew this side of you and I am trying to figure out whether you are a nudist or an exhibitionist, as I can't seem to classify you in either one. Rias, who looked at him in disbelief. Why would you say that? I am neither. Naruto gave her a blank look and pointed at what Rias was wearing and then at the shower in the club room and said. Seriously, what kind of sane person would want an open shower in the middle of the club room and come in with nothing but a bathrobe? You know. You couldn't have been more correct in saying that. But you always loved to show out her body to the entire world. She couldn't even sleep at night unless she's in the nude. Said Akeno, betraying her Butchu by giving information for teasing her. Oh? Still, I didn't think that you would turn over your friends like that, sadist-chan, said Naruto, giving Akeno a knowing look. Akeno had the decency to blush at the comment as she found out that Naruto knew that she was a sadist at heart. Rias gave Akeno an indignant look, who maintained an aloof expression. Rias, seeing this side, and decided to clothe herself. After she was clothed, she coughed to get everyone's attention and started off. I assume you would like to know why you are here, am I correct? Both Issei and Naruto nodded to that question. Okay, but before that, I would like to ask you a question. How much do you know about the Christian, Jewish, and Islamic mythology and beliefs? Asked Rias. Issei shook his head as if to say he had no clue, but Naruto answered her and said. Not much, just that some big guy in the clouds created the world and humans, and that there exist some beings called angels and devils. Said Naruto, remembering what he had brushed up in the library when he first came into this world. Rias looked at the pair of them and said. Well, since you know that, it would be easier to get this done with. The short version of it is. Let me guess. Dark and foul energies from each and every one of you. I would wager $1 that every last one of you are devils from where this topic is going. Said Naruto, cutting off Rias. Riaz didn't respond vocally and instead, all the club members showed off their wings to prove his point. "Well, it seems I was right on the mark," said Naruto. "Yes, you were, however now that you know what we are, we would like to know something about you," said Riaz. "Who are you, Naruto Uzumaki?" End. Chapter 3. The question is, who are you, Naruto Uzumaki? Asked Riaz with a stoic face, but Naruto understood that she was seriously evaluating his threat level of at least by the stare she was giving. "Oh, me? I am just your everyday gardener. Seriously, Red, after all these days we spent, you ask me this now? You wound me," said Naruto with a mock-hurt expression. Riaz can be serious all she wants, but in front of Naruto, all sense and logic should be thrown off a bridge as the guy was unpredictable. Riaz ignored his comment and said, "Yesterday I saw you fighting in a drunk stupor against the fallen angel that killed Issei. I thought of helping you finish her, but you held your own against her very well that I thought it would be unnecessary to interfere. The fight went on until you decided to end it by killing the fallen angel. You stabbed her through the chest. No ordinary human could do that. But you did, and that too with your bare hands. I had you under suspicion when we met years ago while I had just started attending Kuo Junior High. However, since I did not find anything from you, no magic or sacred gear or anything supernatural, I thought that it was merely my assumption and let it pass. Yesterday's passings though have proven to me that I was not wrong to think that you were not ordinary. So tell me, who are you?" "Nice couch leather, by the way. Seems pretty expensive," said Naruto while examining the couch. Riaz was getting pissed if one went by her expression. "Don't play with me. Who are you? Why are you here? Do you know that you are currently speaking to the one that's governing this town? I need to know your intentions to deem whether you are safe or dangerous. I demand you answer me now." She then released her pressure. The rest of the clubroom excluding the newcomers looked grim as they looked upon Ria's serious face. Naruto smiled at her but changed his facial expression to a serious one in less than a second. The beard on his face only amplified the terrifyingly stoic look he was giving while releasing his killing intent. Everyone was instantly floored with the amount of pressure he was releasing. "If I had any purpose that would have harmed you, Red, then I would have done so a long time ago. You are still weak to demand anything from me," said Naruto. He then released it and further added, "I always knew that some kind of supernatural world existed in this place, but I decided that I will not be involved in it for personal reasons. I am just a hermit trying to live an ordinary and slow life in the city. Yesterday was a mistake and an unusual experience which I would like to stay in just as it is. A passing experience," said Naruto. He sighed and said, "I only wish for things to stay as they are, Red. I ran away to stay away from crap like yesterday night. I had no intentions of revealing more about myself than I already have. The way I behave usually is the true me. Not the one yesterday. And yet you hid things from me," said Riaz with a hurt expression. "And yet you have done the same," said Naruto. "That is different. I didn't want you to be unnecessarily involved in our world just because of my curiosity," said Riaz. "And I didn't want to get myself involved any further than required. Excuses can be made every second, Riaz. I am a man of action and I believe that action speaks louder than words," said Naruto. "I am sorry if I hid things from you, but I thought it was for the best if you led your lives as any other person would do from your world." "Your world? Wait, so you are not involved with the supernatural?" asked Riaz. "No, I am not, well, sort of," said Naruto. "Sort of? What's that supposed to mean?" asked Riaz with an angry look on her face. Either one was involved or not, there was no middle ground. "Since I have known you for 4 years, I don't see why I should hide this from you. I am technically not a part of this dimension. No, the better would be that I am not a part of this reality or universe, if you will," said Naruto. The entire peerage including Issei was stunned at what Naruto said with a look on their face that stated, "Are you serious?" Naruto sighed, "Look, let's just forget about where I came from as it no longer matters anymore. I am what I am. Where I am from doesn't make me who I am here, at least not anymore." Naruto had a sad look on his face that made Riaz falter from asking any further questions. "Moving on, I believe it would do some good if you could explain how the little pervert over there was resurrected from the dead," asked Naruto and added, "I am sure that the kid was dead or nearly dead by the time I started fighting that black-winged girl. Yeah, you might need to explain who that chick is too and why Issei was targeted." "Yeah. Riaz-senpai, can you tell me now, please? I am kind of anxious to know," added Issei. Riaz sighed and mentally made a note to discuss this issue later. She then went forward to explain to Issei about the supernatural world, like the different factions and their diplomatic relations and so on, but only did so in brief as there was a lot to cover on the topic. "Right now, Issei, you officially serve under me as a low-class devil. When you advance in rank while fulfilling certain conditions, you could eventually become a high-class devil yourself and get your own peerage," said Riaz. "Wait, so that means I could have a harem of my own?" asked Issei with glee evident in his voice. All the things he hears and only that enters into his mind. Man, this guy is even worse than the pervy sage ever was, said Naruto. HN said Kurama in agreement with Naruto's statement. Don't you dare start that Uchiha trend, Kurama, said Naruto. He was always annoyed whenever Sasuke did that to him. I already started it, brat, said Kurama while grinning. Then end it, furball, said Naruto. No, I won't. Yes you will. No, I won't. Yes you will. Yes I will. No, you won't, damn it. Fallen for the oldest trick in the book, said Naruto while biting his tongue at the stupid mistake. However, their conversation was cut off when Naruto was snapped back to reality with Rias calling him. What happened? You kind of zoned out, asked Rias. It's nothing. Just ignore me whenever I do that, said Naruto. Alright, fine. I won't be prying any more secrets from you unless you wish for me to know, said Rias. Naruto smiled and patted Ria's head, atta girl. Stop that, I am not a kid anymore, said Rias while forming a pouting face. Well, you and your friends are still brats in my eyes. I will be the judge of when I should treat you guys as adults, said Naruto while grinning. Everyone smiled at the interaction as they knew that this was the Naruto they knew. He treated all students in the school like this. Some of the students didn't appreciate his nosy behavior, but there were a lot of exceptions as the students required someone to talk to whenever they felt down. Naruto, being an excellent listener he is, performed that role and captured the love and respect of a lot of students in the school. Issei, who looked at the interaction, asked Kiba, were they always like this? I know that Naruto is close to a lot of students here, but still I didn't know he was this chummy with you guys. Kiba smiled at Issei and said the reason we all are here in the human world is to not only protect the area, but to also experience human lifestyle. Though we may have kept secrets from him, he had been interacting like this with us for the last 4 years or so, ever since Rias introduced him to us. Wait, you have known him for 4 years, but didn't Kuo just recently turn co-ed? Asked Issei with a confused expression and further added, I can understand the other two meeting him, but how in the world did you get to know him? Kiba, who heard this, turned pale and said to Issei, I would rather not talk about it. Naruto, who heard this bit going on, laughed, ha 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 ha, I doubt anyone would want to hear that story, Issei, but since you are part of this club now, why don't I indulge you on one of the prince's most dark secrets? Most dark secrets? Asked Issei, a tad bit curious about what was so funny. Mr. Naruto, you wouldn't, said a pale Kiba. Let him, Kiba. I give permission, said Rias while smirking. Ara, this should be fun, said Akeno. But you. No buts. Even if you didn't give permission I would have said it anyway, said Naruto and beckoned Issei to come closer, and Issei did. Stop, cried Kiba as he didn't want anyone else to know what he went through, but. Ah fuck, asked Issei with a ridiculous expression. He turned to Kiba and said, you posed as a girl for 2 years in middle school. Da fuck, dude. Yep, the secret's out now, thought Kiba with an expression that looked like a kicked puppy. Ha 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 ha. It was the funniest thing I ever saw. He was acting normally until the day I called him out for that. He avoided me like the plague for a year until he decided to open up little by little, said Naruto with glee in his voice. It's because of him that this school turned co-ed, isn't it so, Rias? Asked Naruto. Rias sighed and smiled, poor Kiba couldn't disguise himself as a girl for long periods of time. I required him to be here, so he had to do that to survive. My dad and I had been pushing for co-ed for a while, but some of the other board members disagreed, which made the delay until he came to high school. Issei, though disgusted, did feel and understand Kiba's position. However big of a pervert he may be, even he had some limits, and dressing up as a girl while being a boy was definitely a no-go. Right, I guess we can call it off today unless you have something else to discuss, Mr. Naruto? Asked Rias. No. I guess we can call it a day, said Naruto, getting ready to head back to his room. Mr. Naruto. Before you go I have something to ask of you, said Rias. The rest of the peerage except Kaneko and Rias had left. Well, Kaneko said that she had sensed some senjutsu being used now and then. I just want to ask you if you know something about it, asked Rias. Kaneko tensed at that, which Naruto took notice of. He didn't bother about it that much and explained. Yeah, I am sorry about that. It was me, alright. I was not lying when I said I was a hermit, cause technically I am a sage, said Naruto. Look, I admit I don't know much about it, but I have heard that nearly all senjutsu users in this world went berserk and attacked their own loved ones while under the influence. I hope you understand and try to avoid using it, said Rias in a serious manner. Nature energy is merely a form of energy. Whether it is used for good or bad depends upon the nature of the user. But I still get why the users of this world turned crazy. It's not because of the energy itself, but because of the fact that the world is pissed off at all its residents, said Naruto. Rias didn't understand what Naruto was talking about and her facial expressions urged Naruto to sigh and thus explained further. Well, let me say it in a simplified manner, Rias. Nature is angry. The humans, devils, and angels polluted the earth too much with their wars and exploitation. A Senjutsu user is deeply connected with nature. Thus the user starts to amass these feelings into them. From what I understand, this world has only a basic understanding of Senjutsu as they don't know how to separate the energy from the intentions. If one had strong willpower, then he or she could definitely use Senjutsu to a better degree without going crazy. Rias, who learned of this fact, was stunned, but hers was only second to Kaneko, who had the major reaction. "Teach me," said Kaneko, uttering a mere 2 words, but Naruto could see the plethora of emotions radiating from her eyes. Rias?" asked Naruto, expecting to hear the story from her. "It's complicated," said Rias. "Fine, Lil White, I will teach you, but you have to prove yourself that you are ready for it first." "How?" asked Kaneko. "Tomorrow. Meet me in the park at 4 a.m. Don't eat tardy," said Naruto. Kaneko nodded her head and left. Rias followed after her to give her some mental support as she knew that some bad memories would turn up after the discussion. Naruto, who was left to his own devices, then went on his merry way to the bar. He and Azazel had agreed that they will drink together for 7 nights and whomsoever could outdrink the other had the right to ask for a thing from the other. So far it had been a tie as both him and Azazel each had won 1 time. He was walking merrily when he suddenly jumped and moved out of the way from an incoming light spear from his back. When he looked back, he saw a man wearing a fedora cap looking at him with a stoic face. He asked. "You, who are you? Why do I sense traces of Rainier's magic on you? Do you know what happened to her?" asked the man. "Ray who? Listen buddy, I don't know where you got that fancy ass special effects spear and those wings you wear behind your back, but I am sure that you should not assault a passerby with that," said Naruto while trying to play dumb. "Don't play dumb, human. Aside from your pathetic acting, I can see that you have reflexes unlike that of an ordinary human," said the man. "DCH serves me right for being drunk back then," said Naruto. "Oh? So you do know," said the man. "Yeah, I was the one who killed her. You happy now? Alright then, fuck off, I need to meet somebody and I don't want to be asked why I have blood on my shirt, alright," said Naruto while using his hand to wave the guy off. "Don't worry human, you won't be meeting anybody," said the man. "Oh? Know the name of your killer human, it's Donaseek." The now named Donaseek lunged forward with a spear in his hand, aiming it towards Naruto's neck. Naruto dodged him and gave a kick to Donaseek's waist, which catapulted the assaulter 50 meters away. The blown away fallen angel spat blood and said with a bloodthirsty grin, "Impressive mortal. Now entertain me more. While I would normally ask you to surrender, I am sure that it won't work now as it seems that you are one of those types that enjoy a battle. Unfortunately, I don't have any time to enjoy this battle of ours. Like I said before, I gotta meet somebody," said Naruto. He then moved at an unbelievable speed that Donaseek couldn't follow, but a second later, the fallen angel could feel immense pain from his neck but couldn't do anything. It lasted only a second as the said fallen drifted into darkness. Naruto had plunged his hand into the fallen's throat and squashed his jugular vein, immediately killing the poor bird. He then took his hand out and washed it with a hanky he found in the fallen's pockets. He looked down on his shirt and found that some blood had found its way on him. "Now I have done it. How the hell am I going to explain this blood splatter?" said Naruto out loud. "You don't need to explain anything, my friend," said a voice that now announced his presence. Naruto then turned behind to find a familiar figure standing over there with a grim face. Naruto sighed and then added with a wry smile. "I figured that someone was watching but couldn't pinpoint where. So is the drinking match still on?" Azazel. End. Chapter 4. Azazel was looking at Naruto in the eye while standing 30 to 40 meters away from him with all his wings expanded. Naruto was still slowly wiping off the blood on his hands and said. "Hey, do you have some water, man? Blood doesn't wash off that easy and the smell retains on my hand even after I do so," said Naruto. Azazel looked at him before summoning a water ball with his magic which hovered over to Naruto. "Thanks," was all that Naruto said before he cleansed his hands with the water ball. "So mind explaining to me what are you doing here, Azazel?" asked Naruto. "I could ask the same of you, but let's talk this over with some sake, alright," said Azazel. "You don't mind me killing your brethren?" asked Naruto with a confused look. "No, well I do know that you could have handled it much better, he was still a traitor from what I investigated," said Azazel. "So you are not involved with them?" said Naruto. "No," said Azazel. Both of them walked silently to the bar and ordered some sake. They entered a private booth which conveniently was in one of the corners. The waiter brought them their drinks. They started drinking it silently before one of them chose to break the silence. While sipping on his drink, Azazel said. I came here to investigate some unusual sightings in Kuo. I heard a rumor that the flora and fauna started thriving here starting 5 years ago. Not only Kuo but many other parts of Japan started experiencing the same thing. Still, Kuo topped all of these places on the basis of rapid change. Some of the yokai said that the energy and aura near Kuo feel more relaxing. A lot of them wanted to move to Kuo but couldn't do so because it was under the devil's jurisdiction. It was their embassy in Japan. Then one of my other associates stated that the natural energy in and around Kuo feels pure, unlike other cities. The associate stated that either a being of nature or a master of senjutsu had to be residing in this place for it to be possible. So out of curiosity, I came here. On the night we met, I didn't think you were anything more than an ordinary human, but you became a good friend and companion. So being the curious mind I am, I decided to investigate and was surprised to find absolutely nothing on you. Except for your birth records and other certificates which I assume are forged, as none of the places you were from seem to know a single detail about you. You are a ghost, but the one mistake you overlooked was the appearance that could link you to the sage. Your first appearance in the city was 5 years ago. A day after an unusual crash site was found in the forest near Kuo. 1 week later you found a job as a gardener at Kuo Academy. The instances started 5 years ago and you appeared 5 years ago. Coincidence? I thought so at first, but the moment you killed 2 of my brethren, it allowed me to come to a conclusion. You are a sage, that's for sure, but who you are is still unclear to me. Said Azazel before adding, why are you staying hidden from the world? What's your end goal? Naruto, who had been listening to him so far, said. My goal is to live a quiet, peaceful life to the end of my days. That's why I am also staying hidden. Said Naruto before he looked Azazel in the eyes and added. I have no interest in interfering in your politics or religion. I just want the same life I have for the past 5 years. Azazel looked at Naruto with a scrutinizing eye. He then sighed and said. You are already involved, my friend. The people you surround yourself with are deeply involved in this world. Then help me in not getting involved any further. Asked Naruto. Azazel sighed further and said, I will keep what I found out as a secret between the 2 of us, and as a favor for a friend, I will fill out all the discrepancies you have in your identity to make sure that no one else finds out about you. You have my thanks, Azazel. Said Naruto gratefully. No mention of it. Friends should help each other out, right? Said Azazel while grinning. Naruto gave him a grin of his own and said, yeah. Azazel then raised his cup and said. We may have kept some secrets between us before, but here on let's celebrate a start of a new and wonderful friendship. To a better life. Said Naruto. And better women. Said Azazel. And pie. And pie. Both of them drank away till midnight until the barkeep decided to close the shop. Both Naruto and Azazel decided to separate after Azazel gave Naruto a means of contacting him. Well, that went better than expected. Thought Naruto. You mean the drinking or the talking? Asked Kurama. Both. Said Naruto. Azazel did have a point, Naruto. You cannot expect yourself to be totally uninvolved in this mess if you are going to surround yourself with the ones who are. Added Kurama. I know, Kurama. Said Naruto. Then why? Asked Kurama. You are asking a question to an answer you already know, old friend. Said Naruto. Kurama knew why and gave a retort, your Nindo is going to screw you one day for sure, Naruto. Naruto did not say anything and silently cut the link. He remembered his promise to Kaneko the next morning and decided to take a short nap before he started his daily routine. The next day Naruto woke up with his alarm blaring with the same Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. He didn't know why, but the song sounded strangely appropriate as an alarm. He then completed his morning routine and moved to the park to meet up with Kaneko. He went there to see that the mascot of the school had already arrived at the park in a tracksuit. Why the school tracksuit though? Asked Naruto. Don't have another pair. Said Kaneko. Doesn't Riaz offer you enough pocket money? Asked Naruto. She does. Said Kaneko. Then why don't you buy a pair? Surely you wouldn't spend 10,000 yen a month on candy? Asked Naruto. Kaneko blushed on that remark, to which Naruto immediately put up a blank face. Seriously, why are her teeth still white? Thought Naruto. Do you want me to answer that? Asked Kurama with a perverted grin. Don't go any further, you sleazy ass fox. Said Naruto, trying to avoid the answer as he knew it would be not something he wants to know. Kaneko, looking at Naruto, found a familiar expression that a lot of people had after asking her the same question. I keep my teeth clean by brushing 2 times and drinking lots of milk. Said Kaneko. Naruto just face faulted at that. Milk, she says, wonder how thick it is. Said Kurama, trying to annoy Naruto even more by laughing. Oh, shut up, rabbit ears. Said Naruto, cutting off the mental link. Kaneko found Naruto's expression to be quite confusing as she couldn't understand why he did what he did. But she intended to find out. Naruto, noticing the sight, and said, forget I ever said that. Next time don't say that answer to anyone, alright, kitty? Kaneko just nodded her head as she filed this up for later. Alright, now I believe you already know what Senjutsu is, right? Asked Naruto, to which Kaneko nodded. Do you know how to draw it in? Asked Naruto, to which Kaneko nodded again. Fine then, it will be easy once you know how to draw it. However, from your previous expressions it seems that you have problems in controlling it, correct? Asked Naruto. Kaneko nodded again and said, yes, I feel the urge to kill whenever I draw on it. Naruto frowned at first, then decided to sit down. He gestured Kaneko to sit as well. Both of them sat Indian style. Alright, then Kaneko. First off, let me purify the nature energy here. Said Naruto and added, when I say now, you start drawing the energy into you. I want you to get a feel for it and tell me your experience then, alright? Kaneko nodded and Naruto then started to purify the energy around them. While he was doing so, the place around them started to brighten up and brim with life. Kaneko had already started to feel more secure and comfortable around him. She let out her ears and immediately sat in his lap. Naruto then said, now, but Kaneko didn't listen to him as she already fell asleep. Naruto, who saw the girl on his lap, smiled, guess she felt a little too comfortable, huh? He then woke her up. Kaneko, who then realized what she did, blushed and said, sorry. It's alright, Kaneko, said Naruto and further added, give it a try now. Kaneko did as he said and started to draw in the nature energy. Interesting, I wondered how the yokai are able to manipulate chakra without the use of any chakra networks. So they draw it into their bodies and mix it along with their bloodstream, enriching the cells with chakra, huh? Said Naruto, observing the girl before him. This should obviously help them when they are fighting by enhancing their abilities, but its applications here are limited due to the lack of a chakra network, and the effects are nearly halved, but from what I see, this little one has more chakra than the average jounin, so the amount of higher reserves will probably compensate the lacking of a chakra network. Agreed, said Naruto, but immediately noticed that she was starting to get tensed. He looked in further, observing that the energies are starting to turn impure again, and it was affecting Kaneko. He immediately summoned the famous chakra rod that Lord Fukasaku used when he was still training and hit her with it. Kaneko, who had snapped out of the meditation, hissed at him and said, what was that for? This rod absorbs nature energy very quickly and will help you train in the usage. You were starting to get out of control, so I used it to snap you out of it. Said Naruto. Kaneko, who understood the reason, calmed down but still gave him an angry pout. Naruto sighed and said, alright, I am sorry, okay? I will buy you some sweets later. Kaneko immediately turned back to her ever-present stoic face and said 2 packets worth. Naruto gave her a wry smile and immediately thought something. I sound like one of those shady uncles trying to bribe his niece to hide something he did. How the hell did I turn from Hokage to this crap? Gee, I don't know, maybe changing realities made you end up like this? Retorted Kurama. Naruto ignored that retort while narrowing his eyes at the trees. The barks were rather dark, along with the grass being a little more withered than before. Naruto noticed this and said. Still, I find that the nature energy is too dark in this world. It has been getting darker recently, which allowed Azazel to find me easily. It is not the places I have visited ending up brighter but the world becoming darker. I agree. I think you might need to visit that yokai leader Azazel talked about sometime in the future to discuss this issue. If this goes on, there will be a lot of natural disasters in the future and we won't be able to live that peaceful life you envisioned. Said Kurama. Naruto sighed and said, it seems that I cannot stay uninvolved in this world, eh? Kurama didn't say anything and cut off the link. Naruto then listened to Kaneko about what she felt. They decided to put their training on hold as the sun was rising and people were starting to come in for their morning walks. Naruto then moved to the school where he began his daily job. He noticed that Issei had become much quieter than before after he joined the occult research club. That's all that work Riaz is putting him through, and the whole rebirth as a devil had made him go docile, thought Naruto. He then moved to his room and then to his study where he was learning the sealing arts. It was then an announcement blared. Would Naruto Uzumaki please report to the principal's office? I repeat, would Naruto Uzumaki please report to the principal's office? Wonder what the guy wants. Naruto made his way to the principal's office, knocked on the door and said. Naruto Uzumaki here. Principal. You called me? Ah yes, come in. Naruto entered the office. The place was not spilling out extravagance like Ria's clubroom, but it still had a few paintings and expensive seats, with a rosewood desk in the middle. The principal was a balding old man with a kind look in his eyes. A man was sitting on the couch. Naruto didn't recognize the person and just let him be. So why did you call me, Mr. Principal? Is there any problem? No, none, my friend. However, this person had come to the school today and requested to meet you. He wished to talk to you in private. Said the principal. Naruto immediately squinted his eyes and turned serious but still said in a friendly tone. Oh, is that so? I wasn't aware that I made any impressions. May I ask who you are? Asked Naruto. Of course. However, may we speak in private? It concerns something about your family. Said the man. My family? Asked Naruto in a confused manner. I suppose you may need your privacy. Take the day off, Naruto. Said the principal. Thank you, sir. And you, sir, please come with me. I know a place where we can speak in private. Said Naruto. The man nodded and Naruto led them both to the back of the school grounds where there was a garden. Once they were out of range, Naruto immediately took a kunai he had in his hand and thrust it towards the man's throat who was standing by his side. The man dodged it with a kunai of his own and immediately took some distance. He weaved some hand signs and said. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A huge ball of flame came onto him. Naruto countered it by weaving hand signs of his own. Water style. Water wall. Naruto spewed water from his mouth which formed a wall. The fireball was engulfed inside it and extinguished. However, the man didn't stop. He moved beside Naruto while he was distracted with the fireball and lunged a katana at Naruto's chest. Naruto dodged it narrowly with his kunai and thought, shit, that was close. You are getting out of touch, brat. Said Kurama. Yeah, it seems. Said Naruto. Naruto then moved backward to create some distance but noticed that something was off on the place where he was standing. He then noticed that there was some explosive tags rigged underneath his foot. When did he? Thought Naruto, but then realized that he might have made the trap when Naruto's field of vision was blocked by the attacks he pulled. No time to think, brat. Move. Said Naruto. Naruto quickly weaved through some hand signs and placed his hand on the paper tags which were about to explode. The paper tags disappeared somewhere. Good thing I mastered the Hiraishin no Jutsu. It should be in somewhere in the Sahara. Focus, brat. Your opponent's making a move. The man weaved through a bunch of other hand signs and said. Blind style. Demon winds. A couple of rogue winds that sliced the grass underneath them made way towards Naruto. Naruto immediately dodged the winds and said. Pay careful, asshole. I am the one who has to pay for any property damage that happens here. Hearing this, the man gave a familiar grin and weaved another hand sign and said. Fire style. Phoenix flower flame. Blind style. Great breakthrough. The jutsu was enhanced by the wind and now was heading towards Naruto at a high speed. Alright. That's it. Playtime's over. Naruto immediately formed a hand seal that made both the man and him disappear along with the raging inferno. The scene changed to a beach. Naruto weaved another set of hand signs and said. Water style. Great vortex. The vortex of water countered the raging inferno. The man tried to take advantage of this and sneaked upon Naruto but was caught almost immediately by some vines that grew out from the ground. Wood style. Strangling vines technique. The man struggled to get out but couldn't as the vines grew out until they completely wrapped around his entire body except for his neck. The man then decided to give up and stay still. Capture complete, said Naruto, and the vines around the man stopped growing. Alright. You win. Said the man. Well, at least you know when to give up. Said Naruto. So what are you going to do with me? Said the man. Now I find it incredibly rude when you still keep your transformation in front of your elders, boy. Said Naruto. What do you mean? Said the man. Kid. You can fool anyone else with that transformation you have there. Not me. Said Naruto. The man immediately poofed and transformed into a black-haired person with dark blue eyes with a black pupil. He had shaggy hair tied in a ponytail and looked well aged, around 50 based on the number of wrinkles on his face. He had a wry smile and said. Hey Gramps. Of all the times your grandson had decided to pay a visit, it had to be now, ain't it? Said Kurama. Naruto ignored Kurama and said to his grandson. You have a lot, and I mean a lot, to explain why you are here, Itachi. Said Naruto. I will do so if you can get me out of these bindings. Said Itachi, who turned stoic. Naruto then released the vines around Itachi and said. Alright punk, out with it. Well, Grandpa, you see we have a problem. Said Itachi. The kind that requires you to travel out here and contact me? I am pretty sure I took care of all of them while I was still in our world. Said Naruto. Well, I think it would be better to term it this way. It's not just our world that has a problem on their hands, it may involve this one too. Said Itachi. Naruto looked at his grandson with a confused face. The guy Otsutsuki has returned. Said Itachi. What? What? Both Kurama and Naruto said almost simultaneously. Where is she? What is she doing? Is she still hell-bent on regaining all the chakra from our world? Asked a pale Naruto. Naruto had grown strong since his teens, but without Sasuke, even he would be hard-pressed to go against the mother of all chakra. Itachi smiled and said, that's where the problem begins, she's not in our world but here. Naruto turned silent at that. Kurama. Yes, kid. Fuck me in my life. Oh, I would love to, but fate seems to be doing a better job at it than I ever will. For once I agree with you. End. Chapter 5. Naruto was sitting on the beach with Itachi. The principal had given him some time off from work, so he decided to discuss the issue. He did not look pleased if one can read his expressions. Tell me, Itachi, how did Kagaya escape? Both Sasuke and I made sure that she was permanently sealed in the moon with no escape possible. What happened while I was gone? Itachi looked at his grandfather and said, a lot has happened, Grandpa, but I don't think there was any major instance that could have accelerated the deterioration of the seal. Deterioration. That seal is supposed to be unbreakable from both inside and the outside. The reason we sent her to the moon was so that no living being could access it. What nonsense are you talking about? Said Naruto with anger as he thought about the ridiculousness of the notion. I don't know, Grandpa, but I did notice that there were some signs of decline in quality when a crack started appearing on the moon 8 years ago. Said Itachi. 8 years? Asked Naruto. Yeah, it was 2 years after you left, Grandpa. Said Itachi. Kurama? Asked Naruto while looking for clarification. Time and space are not constant, brat. They move at different speeds in different dimensions, and apparently from what he says, I can pick out that there is a relative difference in speed by nearly 2 times. So 5 years here is 10 years there? Basically, yeah. Grandpa? Naruto, who looked at his grandson, sighed. Kurama says that there is a difference of time between our dimensions by nearly 2 times. Itachi, who picked up on this, had his eyes widened, but he nodded his head to show that he understood. However, that is not important right now. I need to know what Kagaya is up to. So tell me everything you know, Itachi. Itachi then started saying. As I said, it started 2 years after you left. The astronomical department in the Leaf Village noticed a fissure in the moon. I took notice of the issue while I was still in office and asked them to find out why it was happening. The team who were assigned to it were one of the best at what they do. However, they could not understand why it was happening. There were many theories that tried to explain the phenomenon, but all of them were shot down as it could not be proved. The fissure became inactive for a period of time, so we just left it be as we couldn't do anything. Then 6 years later it once again started to develop even more. It did so at a rapid pace, alarming us. Once again we couldn't do anything to understand. While this problem existed, there were a whole lot more of other problems that came to be. The nations were experiencing frequent natural disasters like floods, cyclones and tsunamis. While the Leaf didn't face many problems, we did face a fair amount of floods and economical slumps which were a result of the lack of trade. It was during this time that grandfather came from his seclusion. He explained to us that it was Kagaya Otsutsuki and she had already escaped from the seal. I see. Said Naruto and added, then why didn't Sasuke come here himself? That guy should know better than to send you here instead of coming here himself. Itachi remained silent, which Naruto noticed. Why do you stay silent, Itachi? Asked Naruto, fearing that something grave has happened. Itachi then sighed and said, it is not what you think, Grandpa. Grandfather sent me here because he didn't want our world to be unprotected if she decided to come back. Then why did you stay silent for a moment? Asked Naruto. What you asked was a stupid question, Grandpa. Said Itachi and further added, I thought I could give you a moment to figure it out. However, it seems that you still don't understand the implications. Naruto saw his point and then sighed. Alright then, I will try to stop whatever she's planning over here. So wait, how did you come here in the first place? Even with Sasuke's Rinnegan it should not be possible to come here. That giant red lizard said that it won't happen again. No, I didn't come alone. I believe there are some friends of yours who are eager to meet you, Grandpa. Said Itachi. He then held out his fist. Naruto, who saw that familiar gesture, immediately understood who it was that wanted to meet him. Inner world. The scene immediately changed to an empty space, but it was filled with 9 giant beings. Naruto saw the other tailed beasts who had assembled there and said, Yo. Yo was the response of 5 of 9 tailed beasts, being Shukaku, Isobu, Son Goku, Chimei and Jayuki. It has been a while, old friend. Said Matatabi. Greetings. Said Kakyo. Hello. Said Seiken. Not that I am complaining, but why are you guys here? Said Naruto. To help you when the time comes. Kagaya is a threat to our world and she must be eliminated. Said Matatabi. We don't know that yet, Matatabi. Father did say that if and when the time comes, said Jayuki. Hold up. The old man sent you here? Asked Kurama. Apparently, he did. Said Naruto and turned to Itachi for an explanation. The sage had noticed the disturbance from the pure world and contacted grandfather. It was he who actually found out the core issue. Grandfather then called for a 5-cage meeting through me and explained the issue to the other cage. The sage had assembled the Biju who agreed to help you out and thus came along with me when grandfather sent me here using the seal you used. It took some time, but we were able to reverse engineer some parts and get these coordinates. Grandfather then entrusted me along with a biju in my body with a mission to find you out once we came to this world. They were the ones that helped me maintain my body from being erased," said Itachi. "Now that explains a lot of things," said Naruto. "However, we still don't know how Kagaya escaped from her prison." "I think I know why, Naruto," said Kurama. "Say what now?" asked Naruto, with bewilderment evident on his face. Kurama sighed and answered, "I believe it had something to do with our uninvited arrival here." "Explain, Kurama," said Naruto. "I don't know much about time-space manipulation or theories related to the subject. What I have is a conjecture, but it may be possible. Though I believe it may be best if we talk to that giant red lizard that's performing stunts in the dimensional gap," said Kurama. "You want us to speak to that guy? Are you out of your mind?" asked Naruto. "No, Naruto, I am being serious here," said Kurama. "You know what happened the first time we met that guy while we came into this world," said Naruto, and he further added, "That guy was pissed off that we were intruding on his territory and started throwing a temper tantrum." "I know, and we had to fight tooth and nail in our weak state," said Kurama. "The only reason he let us be was because of my apology and the respect he had for our strengths. I told him that I would never interfere with him again," said Naruto. "It's a requirement, Naruto," said Kurama. We don't follow Naruto," said Matatabi, "but if you think that this lizard may be of help, I think we better get what we can." "I agree," said the four-tailed monkey. "Me too," said Shukaku. "We must hurry," said Kakuo. "I say we meet this being," said Jayuki. "I just want to take a nap," said Isobu. "I agree with the others," said Chaume. Seiken remained silent as she had already fallen asleep. "Well, it's your word against 7 of ours," decided Brat. "Besides, now that we have recovered, we can easily fight against him." "Alright, fine. We will meet Great Red. You happy?" said Naruto. "Yes," said the united voice of 7 Baiges. "Alright, then I will see you guys later," said Naruto. "Wait a moment, Grandpa," said Itachi, who had been staying silent the entire time. "What's up, kid?" said Naruto. "The sage had instructed me to transfer the biju to you as Kagaya might target them once again. Sure, the Jitomazu is still sealed tightly in the moon, but the sage just wanted to be sure that they are in safe hands," said Itachi. Naruto heard this and said, "Alright then." He turned towards the Baiges and said, "You guys know what to do. Right? It's going to be cramped in here," said Kurama. "Bear with it, old friend, I will try to find a better solution in the future," said Naruto. Real world. Naruto then removed the connection and returned to the real world. He saw that Itachi was exhausted. He said, "It will be like that when they are out of you all of a sudden, Itachi," said Naruto. He then handed out some electrolyte he had sealed. "Here, take this. I usually don't use this, but thought it might come in handy one day." Naruto then supplied some of his yang chakra while Itachi was drinking to relieve some of the sudden loss. Itachi felt slightly better, "Thanks, Grandpa." "Don't mention it," said Naruto. "Now then, why don't you tell me what everyone has been up to for the last decade," said Naruto while grinning. Itachi smiled at his grandpa and said, "Of course. I will tell you every last detail even if you didn't want to know." They talked about family matters and irrelevant things until sunset before Naruto decided to leave. "Well, where do you plan on staying, Itachi? I know that you may not have a place here," asked Naruto with concern in his voice. Itachi smiled and said, "It's alright, Grandpa. Though I did not say this before, I arrived here a while back, around 3 months ago. I have been living in a hotel near the abandoned church." "Oh. Where did you get the money though?" Itachi smiled and said, "I first started off stealing some cash by picking pockets. After a week or so, once I learned about how this world works, I became what this world would call as a private investigator." "Oh, good for you. So did you learn about the supernatural world?" asked Naruto. "Gods, devils, angels, fallen and the different factions along with different religions and their politics. I learned about them after I noticed one of those strays, as the devils would call them," said Itachi. "It was actually through them I found you, Grandpa," said Itachi. Itachi went on to explain, "I came to a general location and thus I could not track you when you were in hiding. It took me 2 months and 3 weeks before I even found a trail. I followed this trail through the leader of the Fallen. A male Fallen called Azazel had been investigating strange happenings in Kuo. One of my agents in his organization said that he saw you with the Fallen General while you were drinking one night. So I kept tabs on Azazel and finally found you," said Itachi. "That explains it," said Naruto. The both of them remained silent before Itachi decided to break that. "Grandpa? What is it, my boy?" asked Naruto. "Why don't you come back? A lot of people are missing you back there," said Itachi. "Itachi, I thought I already told you the reasons for me leaving our world," said Naruto while sighing. He loved his grandson, but sometimes the boy simply could not understand. "I know grandpa, I know that you miss grandma. I know that you miss father and auntie, but you still have family left in our world. My son was disappointed that you couldn't be there for both his marriage and the birth of his first child. My granddaughter wants to meet you after hearing about all your adventures from her mother." Naruto sighed as he said, "Itachi, the reason me and Sasuke are trying to isolate ourselves from you is not that we hate you, but we love you too much to stay uninvolved. You know what they say about me and the leaf. They are starting to think we are gods, and that is the one title I could not accept." Sasuke is strong in this resolve as he already has experience in breaking ties and drawing lines. However, those do not exist for me. No matter how apathetic to the situation I try to be, I always fail in the end and get myself involved. My time in the leaf has been long gone. I know that the villagers love me and I know that my family loves me. I may be stupid, but I am not blind. Itachi stayed silent as Naruto continued, "The leaf village of your time is not the one I grew up in. Everything is different. Every street, every building, every shop, and every face. Everything is unfamiliar to me. I hope you never experience what I am going through, Itachi, because death is a better blessing than life at this point. My anchor to live only exists in the few friends I have left. So I decided to come here to start anew." Itachi said nothing but took out a small scroll and unsealed something. He then gave a bowl to Naruto, who looked at the familiar dish in it. "I forgot to say that my son had married Grandma Am's great-granddaughter. She heard that you loved Ichiraku ramen and practiced a lot to make the perfect bowl for you," said Itachi. "I hope you enjoy it, Grandpa," said Itachi and suddenly disappeared. Naruto looked at the bowl and smiled, "Kid always knew how to pull my heartstrings. You always had a soft spot for the kid. He has come a long way from the brat you and Sasuke trained," said Kurama. "And he has made me proud of showing me the kind of man he is," said Naruto. Naruto then took the bowl and chopsticks he had and said out loud, "I did Akimasu." He tasted it first, but then slurped down the entire bowl, while crying his heart out at the familiar taste of spice. "Inner world. I did not know that Naruto turned out to be this much of a mess when he left our world," said Jayuki, still not believing that this was the current Naruto. "What happened to him, Kurama?" asked Son Goku with a grim tone. The death of his mate 40 years ago had affected him quite deeply, Goku. He tried to ignore the feeling, but he subconsciously started to isolate himself from the world. 10 years later, his son followed, and 5 years after that his daughter left him too. All the Baija stayed silent and Kurama continued, "I do not know what to do right now. We Baijas may have feelings, but we can never understand mortality for we have never experienced it." "I have a suggestion," said Matatabi. All of them turned towards the two-tailed cat and asked her to continue. "I think introducing a woman in his life may offer a suitable distraction from his pain," said Matatabi. "HMPH, have you heard what I said? He is isolating himself from everyone, which means that he will not accept any relationship anytime soon," said Kurama while snorting. "I believe only time will tell, Kurama. Who knows? His attraction and love for the woman may exceed his want of trying to isolate himself," said Matatabi. "HMPH," snorted Kurama, but could slightly agree with Matatabi as the proposal seemed plausible. "Like you said, Matatabi, only time will tell," said Jayuki and added, "Now then, let's just put that aside for now and discuss something else. Let's fight. Kurama, you and I have a score to settle," said Shukaku. "I just want to sleep," said Isobu. "I hope Naruto doesn't mind me running around in his psyche," said Kakyo. "What was that, you sand rat? You want to be stuffed in an urn again?" said Kurama, trying to rile up Shukaku. "Fight. Fight. Fight. Fight," said Chamei. Now, let's try to be civil here," said Son Goku while trying to be the mediator. "Shut up, Red Monkey. Do you want me to kick your ass again?" shouted Kurama. "What was that?" shouted the agitated Son Goku. "Here we go again," said Jayuki, sighing. "Well, it is to be expected," said Matatabi, knowing how it usually plays out. Real world. Meanwhile, Naruto was going to his designated quarters while thinking about what to do, totally unaware of the tailed beast smackdown going on between his furry friend and his brethren. "How do I get to the dimensional gap? I have no clue. Man, if only I knew somebody who does." A person instantaneously came to Naruto's mind. Naruto snapped his fingers and said, "Azazel." "Yeah, even if he didn't know how, I know that he will know somebody who does," thought Naruto. Naruto then decided to retire to his bed, but before doing so, he saw himself in the mirror and remembered his fight with Itachi. "Alright. Seems I need to bring my body back into shape." "Intensive training regiment then?" asked Kurama. "Yeah, but only after we speak with Great Red. I heard that the dimensional gap is isolated from the other planes. We can really let ourselves loose over there," said Naruto. "Yeah, I can't wait," said Kurama. "What happened to the others?" asked Naruto. "Seems the travel has still put a strain on them. They are resting for now," said Kurama. "Alright then, time for some good night's sleep for me too," said Naruto before he yawned and fell flat on his bed. The next morning he once again met with Kaneko for her senjutsu training. They made plenty of progress with her finally being able to control it to a certain degree. Naruto said, "You are doing good Kaneko, if your progress is going at this rate. Then you will have mastered the art in no time." Kaneko huffed and said, "If my progress is so good then why am I still not able to go 5 minutes without getting hit by that rod?" Kaneko was seriously reconsidering her life choices. She knew that learning senjutsu will be painful, but not this painful. That damn rod is hateful. "Patience, young one, there is still a lot of progress to be made, but getting through 5 minutes on the second day is damn good progress." "Yeah right, you are not the one who's getting beaten up by that rod. I got beaten up worse than you did when I was around your age trying to master senjutsu. Nothing comes without hard work." "Yeah, I know hard work, right?" said Kurama. "Stop with the cringe-worthy puns, Kurama," said Naruto mentally. "But why do you have to beat my butt with that every single time?" asked Kaneko. Naruto said, "Well, it wasn't required to do so in my case, but it seems that in your case the region around your tails and head gather nature energy faster than the other parts of your body. I naturally couldn't hit your head, so the only other option left is the tail. Besides, some pain will do you some good in remembering your mistakes and give you more motivation." Sadist was all that Kaneko said. "Alright then, Kaneko, I will give you a chance to fight me after you complete this part of the training. Surely it would relieve some stress, right?" said Naruto. Kaneko, feeling motivated, nodded her head and said, "Just you wait, I am going to blow you away with my techniques for messing up my butt with that big black rod of yours." Naruto turned silent at that and mentally spoke to Kurama. "Kurama?" asked Naruto. "Yes, Kit," said Kurama. "I understand what she meant, but why does it sound so wrong in my head?" said Naruto. "Just smile away, Kit, just smile away," said Kurama. Naruto sighed and did as he was told. Kaneko noticed the odd smile on her face but couldn't understand what happened. Determined once again to find out what's wrong, she asked. "What's the matter?" said Kaneko. "Oh, nothing, just thinking," said Naruto. "Ah, the innocence of youth," said Kurama. Naruto and Kaneko later finished their morning session with a spar. Safe to say that Kaneko got her ass handed to her again. Naruto then went back to school to do his work. The day had been quite normal with Issei still adjusting to the life of a devil. Rias had not come by to talk to him today as she would usually, but got to know from Akeno that she was quite busy. The day passed by rather quickly. Naruto completed his evening duties and had gone off to the bar he usually meets up with Azazel. He went inside to notice that Azazel was already there, but there was another person who was with him today. It was a white-haired kid that Naruto assumed to be Azazel's boy. The boy in question looked fit and was about the same age as the kids from the Gremory group. He feels similar to Issei, though there's nothing common in between them, thought Naruto. "Ah, Naruto. Just who I wanted to see. So what's up with contacting me in the dead of the night yesterday?" "Sorry Azazel, I wasn't thinking straight, but I had some good reasons to talk to you. I wonder if we could do it in private," said Naruto, gesturing his hand towards the white-haired kid. "Yeah, Volley here just wanted to check up with me about something. He was about to leave anyway." "Right, Volley," said Azazel. "Yeah, nice meeting you, Mr. Naruto. Hope to see you again in the future," said Volley. "Yeah, you too, Volley," said Naruto, but he secretly hoped that he never does for the kid's own good. As soon as Volley left, Naruto turned stoic and said to Azazel, "I thought that my existence was meant to be a secret." Azazel poured himself and Naruto a drink from the bottle he had ordered and said, "Don't worry about Volley. He was one of those people that helped me find you." "I don't trust the kid, Azazel. He has that mad look in his eyes," said Naruto. "Forget about Volley, now tell me, why did you contact me?" "What happened?" said Azazel. "A lot of stuff has happened and all of it summarized in one word, not good. I need your help, buddy," said Naruto. "And that is?" asked Azazel after downing his glass while Naruto hadn't touched his own the entire time. "I need your help in getting into contact with someone," asked Naruto. Azazel, still not understanding the seriousness of the situation, poured himself another drink and said before drinking, "Oh? And who would that lucky person be?" "Great Red," said Naruto. "Easy. Azazel spitted out the drink he was sipping. Everyone in the bar looked at the pair before Azazel decided to apologize to the people present. Once everyone's eyes were off of them, Azazel looked at Naruto with an incredulous expression. "Are you serious?" asked Azazel. "Serious as I can ever be," said Naruto. "Even if I did say that I could contact Great Red, which I could not, by the way, why would you need to speak with the dragon of dragons of all things?" Is the problem that great? Well then, tell me if a being on the same level or possibly higher than Great Red is currently roaming this world and is in hiding, plotting things that may end both our worlds, then doesn't it qualify as a good reason to speak with him? Said Naruto. Azazel had his eyes widened at that. He looked absolutely stunned. He knew that his friend had no reason to lie, but could not believe that there was an existence that was greater than Great Red. Even the big guy in the sky was not as powerful as the dragon while he was still alive. May he rest in peace wherever he is. Thought Azazel. Azazel looked at Naruto and said, alright, you got my attention. Tell me what do I need to do? Naruto looked at him and said, leave the contacting part of Great Red to me. I have an idea of how to do so. However, I need to get into the dimensional gap first. Fine, I can get you into the dimensional gap, but it will take some time. Said Azazel. How long? Asked Naruto. 1 month at the very least. Said Azazel. I don't have that much time, Azazel. I need it by this week. Said Naruto. I would like to help you, but sadly my hands are tied on different issues. My faction has been having deserters and troublemakers recently, and the other factions are asking us to get rid of them. I would like to say no to them, but it would affect our political relations. So I can't be doing anything but settle this first. Said Azazel. Is there no other way? Asked Naruto. Azazel was silently contemplating on what to do before an imaginary light bulb flickered over his head. Is it just me or did I actually see a light bulb over his head? Asked Naruto. I saw it too. Said Kurama. Huh. Guess it must be an angel thing. It does suit them better than a ring on their head. Thought Naruto. Agreed, having a ring on your head sounds stupid. I pity the fools. Said Kurama. I have an idea. How about you help me take care of some of the deserters? We can help each other out. It would be much quicker if you do it. My presence in the city will alert them and make them go into hiding, but on the other hand, you can do it quite easily since they don't know you. Said Azazel. Naruto saw that there was no other way out of this and sighed. Alright, I will do this, but when will you complete the preparations? If you can take care of this then I can get it ready by the end of this week. Said Azazel. So 5 days? Asked Naruto while holding up 5 fingers on his hand. Free if I rush it. Said Azazel. Take 5. I don't want a half-ass job. Said Naruto. But that said, where is the job? Asked Naruto. Kyoto. Said Azazel. End. Chapter 6. Kyoto. Ha, thought Naruto while still lying down on his bed. Well, we planned to visit the place anyway. Said Kurama. But not under this situation and not so soon. We are going there to clear out Azazel's mess due to his incompetence in holding the reins of his faction. I doubt we will be able to make a good impression in that case. Said Naruto while rubbing his creased brows. I guess we make the best of it. They say that the first impression is the best impression, but I think we may need to work on it in the future before we get down to the talks. Said Kurama trying to reassure Naruto. Seems as if that's our only choice. I heard from Azazel that the leader is a good woman. So who knows, it may go positively. Said Naruto while sighing. Let's hope so. Said Kurama. Alright then, let me just write this letter of absence and go to sleep. Said Naruto. What? Letter of absence, the heck? Since when did you become so professional? Said Kurama, not believing what his host was doing. What are you talking about? I was always professional. Said Naruto, confused at his friend's statement. Professional? Is this coming from a guy who always called his superior as Jiji when he was a kid? Submitted his shinobi registration photo while posing with face paint. Asked Kurama, deadpanning at his host. Boy. That's when I was a kid. I learned to respect the authorities and the formalities later in my life because I knew how much of a hassle it is if you don't inform somebody that you are absent. Said Naruto, recalling of his time as Hokage. HMPH, snorted Kurama and went back to sleep. Naruto completed his letter and went to sleep. The next morning he went by the principal's office and gave his letter. The principal agreed and let him go as he assumed it had something to do with his family. The school could afford to hire some outside help while he was gone, or maybe even have some of the students do it. It may be a good experience for them. He went ahead and gave Naruto 2 months off and told him to come only after Golden Week. Naruto didn't know what was going on in the principal's head and thought that he was being kind and thanked him. He came out and went by the ORC to inform them of his plans. He saw Kaneko there, who he trained with this morning, eating some candy. He went up to her. Hey Kaneko, where's Rias? Asked Naruto. Outside. She's with Issei helping out with a contract. Said Kaneko. Oh, okay then. Said Naruto. Why do you need her? Asked Kankyo. Well, I thought it might be better if everyone were present for this talk, but it seems that it will not be possible. Said Naruto. Why? Did something happen? Asked Kaneko. I may need to go out of town for a while. Said Naruto while scratching his cheek. How long? Asked Kaneko. About 2 months or so, said Naruto. Training? Asked Kaneko, worried about her senjutsu training. Needs to be put to a halt. It's important I go. Said Naruto while making a grim face. Kaneko, who saw the face, understood the seriousness of the issue. She stopped eating her sweets, hugged Naruto and said. Come back safely, said Kaneko. While she may not admit it, she started to become close to Naruto during the training. She almost felt a familial bond with him, like he's that big brother or father she never had. Naruto softly smiled while looking at her and said, I will, young one. Tell the others for me, will you? Kaneko nodded her head and went back to eating her sweets on the couch. Naruto left the clubroom and went to pack his things. He sealed all the supplies he required in a scroll and packed some mundane things like clothes, toothpaste and such in a bag. Wait, why do we need a bag? Can't you just seal that up in your scroll? Asked Kurama. Having a bag makes you look less suspicious while traveling, Kurama. Said Naruto. No other human is going to see you when you wait a second, you are not going to, said Kurama, but was cut off by Naruto before he could complete his sentence. Yep, we are going out in style. Said Naruto. He immediately unrolled a rather large scroll and unsealed it. Immediately a motorcycle poofed into existence. It had a sleek black outer body and was lined with flame-like orange. It looked like a Harley Davidson but did not have the Harley logo. Instead, it had an Uzumaki spiral on it. Naruto hugged the motorcycle and kissed the body. My sweet baby. How I missed riding you. Said Naruto. Why do you want to ride that, Naruto? You can just run there. Hell, your running sounds faster than riding that thing. Said Kurama. Hell no. If I am going to Kyoto for a week, then I might as take this opportunity to use my baby and tour the place. We need to keep it under the radar. Plus I doubt we need any fuel cause this thing is chakra powered. Do you have any idea how good it feels to have the wind blow on your face while moving faster, the thrill of going fast on this sweet mechanical angel? Said Naruto. HMPH, your wish. Said Kurama. I don't know why you hate my baby so much. Said Naruto while showing his disappointment to Kurama. Kurama just ignored him and went back to sleep. The motorcycle was invented later in the future when technology had developed in the elemental nations. It was rather popular among the shinobi as it helped them move things easier and it was chakra efficient. Naruto had custom ordered one from the company that made them and the company happily obliged without asking for any form of payment in return. Having the most influential person in the elemental nations use their product in itself is a major advertisement. Naruto liked to ride this and not the vehicles prepared by this world because it was pollution-free. He was helping out nature in this world. It sounded very hypocritical of him to ride a machine that harmed it while trying to soothe the same. He then proceeded to ride like the wind at high speeds while enjoying himself. He was so in the mood that he didn't notice a police car chasing behind him. Wanna catch me, do they? Well, hasta la vista, losers. I am outta here. Said Naruto. What is this about keeping it under the radar? Cause you are setting off all kinds of alarms here. Said Kurama, knowing that this would happen. Naruto gets too excited whenever he uses the right and screws up a lot of things. Screw keeping it under the radar. If this planet is going to end up as space dust or end up getting stuck in a big ass illusion in the future, then the least I can do is enjoy a high-speed chase. Woohoo, this old man has still got it, baby. Said Naruto. Why do I even try, said Kurama as he sighed. Shit. Roadblock. Said Naruto, seeing the upcoming roadblock made by police vans. Suspect. Stop your vehicle. We have laid out spikes on the road. Slow down and pull over. Said a policewoman through a speakerphone. Showtime. Thought Naruto. Naruto immediately accelerated his bike. The police who saw this thought that the man must be crazy if he thinks he could cross them. The woman shouted, you. Slow down or you are going to crash. Naruto didn't bother but immediately used his legs to kick the ground. The kick gave a reaction by lifting both him and the motorcycle 10 feet in the air. The onlookers who saw this were stunned. Naruto didn't bother and gave a peace symbol while in the air. Good thing I have a transformation on. He thought. He crossed over the roadblock and went on his way. He crossed all the way to Kyoto, jumping over checkposts and roadblocks, each higher than the last, before he finally lost them in the outskirts where he got off the highway. Naruto thought it would be high profile if he went into the city like that, so undid his transformation and went to stand at a nearby bus stop. He eventually found his way into the city. Once he came in, he was assaulted by a rich natural feeling that came onto him. He noticed that the area was quite peaceful. No matter how many times I see it, this city is really quite beautiful and majestic. Said Naruto. Much better than the other cities, of course. Said Kurama. Way better. Said Naruto. Well, I guess touring comes later. Let's finish the job first. Said Naruto and went to the address given by Azazel. He noticed from outside it was a shrine, but saw that it was protected by a barrier. He went inside the barrier and saw that the shrine was just a facade and the inside was much bigger than he imagined. Almost looks like a palace. Said Naruto. Halt. What business do you have here, human? How are you able to see through the illusion? Said the guardsmen protecting the palace while pointing their spears at him. I am here to see your leader as I have some business with her. Said Naruto. Oh? And what business do you have? Said the guard tightening his spear. Azazel, the governor of the Fallen and the leader of the Grigori sent me here. Said Naruto. The guard lowered his spear but was still wary. He then said alright, we will inform Lady Yasaka of your arrival. She has been expecting a response from your leader for quite some time. You may enter the palace, but beware, we are watching you. Naruto didn't say anything and entered the palace with a stoic face. He noticed the various amounts of yokai standing there whispering and murmuring while looking at him. He didn't pay mind to what they were saying and was waiting patiently. 10 minutes later an attendant came and said to him. Lady Yasaka will speak to you now. If you would follow me please. Said the attendant. Naruto said nothing and just followed the person. They then came upon a traditional Japanese sliding door. The attendant said. Lady Yasaka, I have brought you the emissary of Lord Azazel. A melodious voice answered her, please let him in. The attendant opened the door. Inside was a beautiful golden-haired woman with thick and short eyebrows. She had fox ears and 9 tails were swaying behind her. Good evening, I hope my subordinates treated you fairly. They get a little antsy sometimes with all the troubles we faced recently, so you have to forgive me. Said Yasaka. Oh and no problem, they were just doing their job yeah said Naruto while looking at the woman and blushed. Wow, she's beautiful ain't she Kurama? Buddy? Asked Naruto slightly concerned. Kit. Said Kurama. Yeah? Said Naruto. If you ever get the chance to get it on with her, don't you dare reject it. Said Kurama. Wait what the hell are you saying Fuzzbit? I already have Hina said Naruto, however, was interrupted when he heard a coughing sound. He turned to face Yasaka who was looking at him with somewhat of a disappointment. When she asked Azazel for help, she didn't mean for an obese human who easily fell for her charms like the one before her. Maybe I should have specified proper when I asked to clean up his mess. Thought Yasaka. Naruto who noticed that the hot lady in front of him was looking at him with a scrutinizing eye, sighed and thought well there goes our good first impression. He then shook off his feelings from the matter and said with a stoic face, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. It's nice to finally meet you Lady Yasaka. The rumors don't do you enough justice for your beauty. So you must forgive me if I was startled to see you. Azazel asked me to help you out with some matters you said you have trouble with. He mentioned something about taking care of deserters. Why yes, Kyoto recently had troubles with some rogue fallen who operate in the outer rim of the city. We ask Azazel to take care of it seeing they are fallen and all fallen come under his jurisdiction while we are still allied with him. Said Yasaka while stuttering in the beginning as she didn't expect Naruto to make a sudden change in expression and attitude. Okay. Do you know the general area of where they are? Asked Naruto. Yasaka nodded her head and said, yes we have tracked them to an old amusement park which has been out of business for a while. Alright hand me the address and I will be done by tomorrow. Said Naruto. It will be done. Would you like to have some tea? Asked Yasaka. Thank you my lady, but I believe I have a job to do now. I will gladly take up on your offer when I return if you don't mind. Said Naruto. That is fine. Now if you would excuse me. I have some other matters to attend. Said Yasaka as she made her way out. Of course. Said Naruto as he bowed and left for the job he was given. Naruto made his way to a public payphone nearby. The bad thing about Naruto is that though he had a phone he was too stingy to pay a network connections company every month for placing a simple phone call on a phone he hardly uses. He dialed up a number using the payphone and waited for a while until the other side decided to pick up. Hello, this is the office of Uchiha private investigation firm. How may I help you? Said a clerk who picked up the phone. Good evening miss, can you get Itachi for me, please? It's important that I talk to him. Said Naruto. I am sorry sir, but Mr. Itachi is unavailable right now. Do you wish to leave a message? Asked the clerk. Tell him that Naruto Uzumaki wants to talk to him and it's very important. He'll know. Said Naruto. Hold on we'll speak to you now said the clerk. Grandpa, why did you call me now? Something happened. Said Naruto. Get your ass down to where I am alright. Said Naruto, we need to talk. Alright. Said Itachi and hung up the phone. Wait did I say where I was? Asked Naruto. No, you didn't dumbus. Said Kurama and added, why did you call him in the first place? Take a guess. Said Naruto. Knowing you, I would probably say that you called him to just hang out with your lonely ass. Well that is inaccurate, it ain't wrong either. I called him here for another reason you know. Said Naruto. Does that relate to the recent negative emotions I have been sensing from some of the yokai over here? Asked Kurama. Yeah. It rubs me the wrong way. Said Naruto. He then ran to the address that Yusaka had given him and arrived at the amusement park. The park was closed with its gates tightly shut. Naruto didn't want to waste any time and kicked the gates open. "Well, why don't we just announce where we are, alright?" said Naruto, knowing subtlety was not his strong suit and not his style. "The old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way." Naruto grinned and then shouted out, "Alright, you lousy ass sons and daughters of bitches. Get the fuck out of here and prepare to get your ass whooped." "Who the hell? Hey you, what the hell are you doing here?" said a man who came outside. The man further added, "Hey you guys. Come check this clown." 12 more fallen angels joined up and all of them looked at Naruto while flying in the sky. 13 of them. 2 of them have 2 pairs of wings and one of them is acting as the speaker, so he must be the leader of this group, I suppose. Thought Naruto. "Alright, clown. You told us that you will kick our asses. What now? Scared that there are 13 of us and 1 of you?" said one of the fallen. "Granted, I didn't think it would be such a large group, but still, you guys don't scare me. So here's the deal. You guys either quietly get back to the Grigori with me and get your punishment or I bring you in by force. Trust me to take the first option cause the second one will not end well for you," said Naruto. "PFFT, hahaha. Look at this guy. Why don't you entertain us by doing a belly dance with that pot of yours?" "Nah, leave it. You are too disgusting anyway. You know what? We dare. No, let me rephrase it for you. We dare you to try take us captive without getting this light spear up your heart," said the fallen guy who Naruto assumed to be the leader. "Fine your wish," said Naruto. He quickly formed 5 hand signs and touched the ground. Wood style. Strangling vines field. Immediately 7 of the fallen angels got caught by the technique and were pulled down. "What the? The foo? Shit, I got caught." "Careful guys, the vines drain your energy." The ones who got caught warned the others to be careful, but they were already too late. Naruto threw 4 kunai at 5 of the uncaptured ones which grazed them. The fallen dodged and said. "Ah, is that the best you can do?" said the fallen. He threw a light spear at Naruto. Meanwhile Naruto just stood there and grinned. He immediately disappeared in a flash. He appeared behind the fallen and easily knocked them out in less than 2 seconds. The last 2 fallen remained. However, they looked pretty pissed. One of the other fallen leaders shouted, You will pay for this." However, unlike the other fallen angels, this one took out 2 revolver guns. He then proceeded to shoot 3 shots from each at Naruto. Naruto dodged the bullets and made his way to the fallen angel. He then took the fallen by surprise and disarmed him. He kicked the leader away who fell down and hit his head and went unconscious. Naruto then shot at the other fallen angel who lunged at him with a katana. The leader didn't expect to be shot at his wings and fell down to where the vines were. Unsurprisingly, he got caught. The other leader who got kicked regained consciousness and saw that his gun was nearby. He was about to take the gun but was stopped when he noticed a feeling of a gun behind his head and a soft clicking sound. Ah. I know what you are thinking, punk. Did he fire 2 shots or 3? You know, in all this excitement I kind of forgot myself. Though having a gun pointed to your head, even if you did try to move a single muscle, your head will be blown to smithereens. So you got to ask yourself one question: do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? Said Naruto and gave him a grin that went unnoticed by the fallen. The fallen considered his options and let go of the gun in his head. Naruto smiled and extended his jutsu range to capture the fallen. As Naruto proceeded to take care of the others, the fallen who got caught last asked. "Hey. I gotta know." Naruto didn't say anything but just pointed the gun at the fallen. He then pulled the trigger. The fallen who asked quickly closed his eyes when he saw the gun, opened his eyes when he saw that there was no bullet coming his way. Naruto threw the gun at his feet where the vines were taking care of the job, as the fallen leader said, "Son of a bitch." "Well, that was pretty anticlimactic. For all their words, these fallen sure are weak, aren't they?" said Kurama. "Well, it usually is whenever the Hiraishin is involved," said Naruto. "So what was that? Version 3? You mastered it?" asked Kurama. "Yep, finally perfected it. Whatever the kunai touches is automatically marked, though it works only once," said Naruto. "Well, now to put these guys away." Naruto then silently sealed them in a scroll and made his way back into town. He made his way back into town and entered one of the hotels. He then booked a room under the name Sasuke-Chiha and went straight to bed. The next morning he woke up to the alarm that was blaring with its loud noise once again, only to find a face in front of him. "Ah, it's you, Itachi. Why the hell did you stick your face so close to me?" "Scratch that. Why are you in my room? How the hell did you even find me?" said Naruto, startled by Itachi waking him up. "I was close to you because I thought there was something on your face. I am in your room because you called me and how I found you." Itachi trailed off and switched on the TV. The high-speed chase happened yesterday on the XX highway where the suspect was driving an unlicensed black motorcycle, said an anchor on TV. The screen showed Naruto in a henge evading the cops and his unbelievable stunt of jumping over checkpoints and blockades. Naruto blushed at the scene and said, "Oh come on. Grandpa merely wanted some excitement. Going 160 miles per hour on a motorcycle isn't exciting, Grandpa. It's stupidity and you know better," said Itachi, admonishing his grandfather. "Ah sheesh. You sound just like your grandmother Sakura. You take more from them than you do from me," said Itachi. "I am glad. I don't want to imagine what I would be if I took any more from you than I already did," said Itachi. "Why you brat. Sometimes I wish your brother was here instead of you," said Naruto with a mock-angry face. "On a more serious note. Why did you call me here, Gramps?" asked Itachi. Naruto turned serious at that and told Itachi of his conversation with Kurama. Itachi, knowing that his grandpa's intuitive feelings are usually right on the mark, said that he will get to work immediately. He then left Naruto to his own devices. Naruto then made his way back to Yasaka's palace, but on the way, he came upon a young girl he couldn't ignore. The young girl looked around 12 to 13 years and was prancing about as if she was looking for something. Naruto, being the good guy he is, made his way to the girl and asked, "What happened, young miss? Is everything alright?" asked Naruto. The young girl, who looked at him with an awkward expression, not expecting him to talk to her, said, "It's alright, I am fine," said the young lady while hesitating to say what happened. "It's fine, young miss. You can say it to me. I will try and help you however I can," said Naruto in a reassuring manner and gave her his famous Cheshire Fox grin. The young girl, who saw this, calmed down and said, "It's my purse, I had it with me a few moments ago, but now I find that it's missing. Mister, can you please help me find it? My mother will be angry if she knew that I lost my purse." Naruto frowned and looked around. He noticed that one person was keeping his hands in his pockets. Naruto looked at him and smiled. "Found him." Naruto turned to the young lady and said, "Don't worry, missy. Just wait right here. I will go fetch back your purse." "Fetch?" asked a young lady, but Naruto was already way ahead of her. She saw him talking to another man who grunted at him annoyingly. She then saw Naruto saying something to the man, and the man relented and handed her purse that she had been searching for. She realized, "That man picked me." Naruto then came back to the young lady and said, "Here's your purse, young miss." "Thank you very much, mister. There isn't much, but I hope this serves as thanks for helping me out," said the young girl and handed Naruto some cash from her purse in a well-mannered way. Naruto shook his head and said, "It's fine. Let's just say it's my good deed of the day. Next time you walk down these streets, be careful for pickpockets, alright?" The girl smiled and said, "Alright. Alright then, see you later," said Naruto and turned to leave, but was stopped by a cry from the girl. "Wait," said the girl and further added, "What is your name, mister?" Me? My name is Naruto Uzumaki." "Nice to meet you, said Naruto. "Kunu?" Naruto grinned and said, "Nice to meet you, Kunu." "Oh, shit, look at the time. Well, have fun, Kunu. I have to get going," said Naruto, running off without looking back. He then went into Yasaka's palace like yesterday and met with the nine-tailed vixen. He explained to her that they will no longer be any trouble, to which Yasaka relaxed and gave him her thanks. Naruto just shrugged it off, saying that it was his duty. He then explained to her the other part of the errand Azazel had given to him. He was to give her some new terms for the alliance and ask her whether this could be approved. Yasaka went into a momentary silence after looking at the paper in her hand. She then nodded and said that she will get back to him by the end of this week after she had a meeting with her council. Naruto agreed to her requirement. Both people spent some time speaking about mundane things. Naruto found Yasaka to be a beautiful and smart woman who also had his taste for ramen. Yasaka appreciated Naruto's company as he seemed like a good friend to talk to. Soon the sun went down and Naruto was about to leave just when Yasaka stopped him and said, "Will you join me for dinner, Naruto? My daughter will also be there." Naruto, being polite and slightly shy about the prospect, said, "I don't want to intrude in your personal time, my lady." "Nonsense. You are not intruding anywhere. Plus, aren't we already friends? Call me Yasaka. The my lady stuff is too stiff as a way of addressing me," said Yasaka in a jovial manner. Naruto smiled at this and said, "Alright Yasaka, please lead the way." They went into a wide room together and arrived at the table. Yasaka said, "My daughter will be joining us soon, Naruto. Please wait while she does," said Yasaka. "It's alright Yasaka. Let the little one take her time," said Naruto, trying to be polite. "Strange, she usually is not this late. I wonder what happened," said Yasaka. Just when she said that, a maid barged into the room and shouted, "Milady, Milady. Kariha. Tell me what happened," said Yasuka, trying to hide her worst fears. "It's bad, Milady. The young miss has been kidnapped. The kidnappers have left this note," said the maid and handed Yasaka the note. Yasaka read the note and her displeased expression turned furious. She burnt the note to cinders with her foxfire. Use all our guards to search the city. I don't want any harm to befall my daughter, said Yusaka. At once milady, said the maid and left. Naruto, who looked at the sight before him, asked her, what is the matter, Yusaka? What did the note say? What's their demand? They are demanding me to remove myself from my seat of power, said Yusaka while gritting her teeth. Why? That's absurd, said Naruto. Yusaka sighed and said, no, it's not. Some of my kinsmen have been displeased with me ever since the Nakashu incident 10 years ago. Some of the power-hungry councilmen took advantage of this and have been pushing others to dethrone me ever since. It seems that they finally act in the open. Naruto narrowed his eyes and asked, how? They want me to agree to a marriage between me and their candidate, an 8-tailed kitsune yokai. The man is not a bad person at heart, but he doesn't realize that he's being manipulated by the elders. I have been trying to get through to him, but he takes it as if I am the manipulative witch trying to maintain my own power, said Yusaka while sighing. Naruto narrowed his eyes and said, let me go get your daughter then. What? Asked Yusaka with a surprised expression. She then shook her head and said, this doesn't concern you, Naruto. The kidnappers want me to announce the engagement with their candidate tomorrow, and the marriage will take place next week. Only then will they release my daughter. Naruto still stubbornly and reassuringly said, this matter concerns me because you are my friend. Friends help out each other. Besides, I doubt the counselors would agree with Azazel's terms. Yusaka understood his reasoning and smiled. She then said to him. Alright, I will ask you for this help one time, my friend. Please find my daughter and bring her back safely. It would be best if you can do this before I could possibly announce my engagement. If you can help me with this, I will agree with the terms Azazel has put forward, seeing that the council will be inactive for the time being. Thank you for helping me out in my tough times, Naruto. It's no problem, Yusaka said Naruto and grinned. Besides, I can't leave such a beautiful woman like yourself in trouble, could I? Yusaka blushed under the implications of being called beautiful. Naruto, who noticed what he said, was cursing himself for his motor mouth. He then said. Well, why yeah, I will be going now, said Naruto. Hey, alright. Please, do be careful, said Yusaka. Naruto nodded and went out of the palace. He went into a crowd and touched a seal on his arm. The seal lit up and Itachi just flashed into existence. No one noticed him turning up suddenly since they were in a crowd. So what have you found, Itachi? Asked Naruto. You were right, Grandpa. There are some traitors within the Yokai faction, said Itachi. Tell me everything, said Naruto. End. Chapter 7. Tell me everything you know, Itachi, said Naruto with a grim face while moving through the crowds. Itachi replied, there had been some friction within the Yokai faction ever since the Nakashu incident 10 years ago. The Kyoto Yokai were not pleased with bowing down their heads to the devils when their kinsmen were slaughtered. I hope you know of this incident. Naruto nodded his head as his closed fists tightened. It is one of those incidents Azazel mentioned to Naruto so that he has some knowledge about how the Yokai society works if he's going to forge relations with them. Not surprised to say, Naruto was not pleased with how the incident was taken care of. Itachi noted his grandfather's expression and said, well, since you know of this, it will be much easier to explain. 3 of the 8 elders who take decisions along with the Kyoto faction leader decided to take advantage of this mess 10 years ago and have been pushing her out of power. They are intending to put a puppet in power. Naruto nodded his head and said, tell me their names. Itachi complied and said, the first one is Elder Mizuhiro of the Akura Kamui. The second is Elder Kazuhana of the Kamitachi. The third is Elder Takeshi of the Basin. Their puppet leader is known as Nakeashi, an 8-tailed kitsune. A rebellion by water, wind, and fire along with a good friend of theirs. It feels poetic, said Naruto. He looked at Itachi and added, well, it seems now I must fill you in on what I learned. Naruto then told Itachi of the things that happened before he left the palace and told Itachi, I have promised Yusaka to bring her daughter safely back to her. I have never broken a promise and I don't intend to change that till my last breath. He then ordered Itachi, find out every last dirty secret you can about those 3 elders and give it to their puppet. From what I heard, he's the only one who is righteous among them. Leave no stones unturned. We need to get rid of them quickly if we are to stabilize our relations with the Kyoto Yokai. I will search for the girl in the meantime. Itachi said, at once. And disappeared. Naruto walked the busy streets of Kyoto alone. He smiled as he thought of a plan. So how do you intend on finding the girl? Asked Kurama. We are not going to find them. We are going to let them find us, said Naruto. This is not the time to play games, Naruto. Asked Kurama with an incredulous expression. I heard that there is this great bar in Kyoto from Azazel that serves one of the best sake there is. I am going to enjoy ourselves while we can, said Naruto while ignoring his friend's comment. Why would you do that? How on earth is that going to help us? asked Kurama, still not understanding his friend's decision. Just wait and see. Said Naruto, making his way to the bar. It was a fancy inn with a lot of customers that night. Naruto went up to the bar table and said to the barkeep with a thick Kyoto accent. Give me some good old sake. The best one you can find. I am in a happy mood today, so free sake for everybody. Everyone cheered at the idea of getting free sake. The barkeep smiled and nodded. The whole bar was noisy with people running to get their drinks. I still don't get the point of this. Said Kurama. Just wait. Said Naruto. Kurama stayed silent and healed Naruto, who drank 3 bottles worth of sake. He then noticed a rough-looking pair of Kamitachi yokai drinking and blabbering something. Naruto smiled and thought bingo and went near them. Kurama looked at his friend and finally understood what he was on about. So you used the principle of that old perverted master of yours. Said Kurama. Naruto grinned and said, the best way to get some information is through a bar or brothel. The first rule of gathering information. If there was anything that old pervert had taught me useful aside from the ninja arts, then it was the art of espionage. Sadly, I didn't have any use for it in my teenage years. The problem with all these 2-bit thugs is that they tend to enjoy themselves after a good work instead of just going to sleep. Thank Kami, you haven't picked up his sense of literature. Said Kurama. Ha! You call that literature? It's just a shoddy excuse for him to share smut. Said Naruto and added, I don't understand how people can read that piece of crap. Then why did you hide all the Makeout series books in the Hokage's office? Asked Kurama with a deadpan look. I don't have anywhere else to hide them. They are my godfather's books, you know. And I have the publication rights for that book. I just kept them aside as a memento even if they were perverted. Said Naruto. Then a better question would be, why did you enact the scenes with Hinata? Asked the fox, further giving a deadpan. What the hell, Kurama? I told you not to look into our private time. Said Naruto with a blush on his face. Well, I was kind of bored. Plus you and that maid of yours was putting on a show that I could seriously enjoy. What was that line she said, bend on your knees and suck my, said Kurama, but Naruto interrupted him. Stop. I don't want to know those things now, asshole. That was the single most shameful moment of my life. Said Naruto with a brighter blush. Shameful? I doubt it. You were enjoying it thoroughly, what did you say? Yes, mistress. Let me, said Kurama, but was once again interrupted by Naruto. Stop now, you sleazy fox, or else I might have to show you the worst image you will ever see. Said Naruto with some anger in his voice. Try me. Said Kurama with a smirk and taunted Naruto. Kurama wasn't smirking for long, for the image Naruto had shown him burnt his eyes. Literally. It was a sensual image of a sweaty Kurama and Shukaku in a pink cave about to do the deed. My eyes. Make it stop. Please don't do this to me, Naruto. Said Kurama, but at this point he could do nothing about it. You will pay for intruding mine and Hinata's sexy time. So good luck. Said Naruto. Oh, by the way. I imagined a pretty good movie, so enjoy the next 2 hours in the best way you can. Said Naruto while disconnecting the link. You will pay for this, brat. I will make sure to get you back for this someday. Said Kurama, but that didn't stop him from saying, please. Make it stop. No. Not that hole. Kurama can beg all he wants, but Naruto wasn't paying attention to any of it. He already enhanced his hearing with a listening seal and eavesdropping on the conversation going on between the pair of Kamitachi. Ah, damn that little bitch. I am going to show her who's boss once the mistress's usefulness for her is over. Said one of the Kamitachi who had a bandage over his hand. Relax, it's just a bite. Said the other one and added with a perverted giggle, it's not like you have been bitten in various places before. Do you think this is funny? That little shit bites like crazy. It was damn hard to hold her still and get some food into her mouth. If it weren't for the boss threatening her, then I doubt I would have left with my fingers intact. Said the first one. You tell me. Do you know how annoying the fox brat was when we were carrying her all the way to the warehouse? She couldn't stay still. Said the second one. He then further added, I pity the guys who are going to move her next. The palace guards are searching the area like crazy, so the mistress doesn't want to risk keeping her in the same place more than one night. Anyway, forget that annoying little twat. Let's just drink and celebrate. Heard that some human is paying for free sake here, so let's enjoy ourselves. Naruto cut off the listening seal. He then made his way to the barkeep and paid the man what he owed. All the money that Naruto used was from his winnings in the casinos he gambled. Safe to say that with his luck and money, he became a rich man after a few trips to different casinos. Why different ones? Well, it was because any casino he played in didn't allow him to be there more than once, as he made them cough up all the dough that they earned. He earned a lot of money, but it was money that he didn't have any use for. Naruto thought, warehouse is it? He waited for some time and then noticed the 2 yokai coming out drunk but still not totally wasted. The two of them separated and Naruto silently went forward towards the guy that had his hand bitten off and touched him on the shoulder, and immediately both of them disappeared in a flash. They both reappeared on top of an active volcano, with Naruto holding the person by his cuffs and having him on the edge. What the hell is this? Who are you? Let go of me, you son of a bitch. Asked the yokai while sweating from the heat of the inferno below. The fellow didn't notice that though, as he was busy struggling to get off Naruto's grip from his cuffs. He was so drunk that he didn't even notice a change in scenery. Careful what you wish for. Do you really want me to let go? Take a look down below. I will allow it. Said Naruto in an ominous manner. The yokai, who was sweating, noticed the hot and boiling lava down in the volcano and paled. He lost his drunken stupor as the adrenaline flowing through his veins cleared his thinking process. He shouted. What do you want, human? Please, I will do whatever you want, but just don't let me down. Said the Kamitachi. I want you to tell me where your group is keeping the Fox Princess. Said Naruto. I can't say that. They will kill me if I do. Said the Kamitachi. Is that so? Well, then you decide. You die now without talking and with no fighting chance, or you die later by the hands of your boss, but you still have a chance to run out of town. Said Naruto with a terrifying stoic face while releasing his killing intent. The man seriously weighed his options, but when Naruto slightly loosened his grip on the man, he decided to talk. Alright. We are keeping her in the warehouse of an old iron mill called Getetsu. Said the man. The guard detail. There are 30 of us who are guarding her, and one of them is Elder Kazuhana. That's all I know. Let me go now. Said the man, frightened about falling to his doom. Excellent. Said Naruto, and they flashed out of the place once again, ended up in an alleyway. Now, I can't have you talking for a while, so good night. Said Naruto, knocking out the yokai and hid him in one of the nearby dumpsters. Naruto then made his way to the location given by the yokai. Though this time he went in silently. I can't risk them teleporting the princess in a state of emergency. Said Naruto. He then sneaked inside, avoiding the guards, and quickly made his way into the warehouse. He made some shadow clones who placed some explosive tags here and there and pasted them completely around the mill without alerting the guards. Meanwhile, the original did his best to sneak inside the warehouse. He then saw 6 yokai inside, consisting of 5 adults and a young fox yokai in a separate area surrounded by crates. Naruto recognized the youngling. Who knew? So she's the princess. What a small world. Thought Naruto. Naruto then sneaked towards the place where Kunu was. Kunu, who noticed Naruto couldn't properly note his features, and said. Let me go. My mother won't let you get away with this. Said Kunu, nearly shouting. Naruto came near Kunu and kept a finger on his lips and shushed her. He properly showed his features to her in the moonlight to show who he was. Kunu recognized him and turned silent. She was confused as to why Naruto was here, but her doubt didn't remain unanswered when Naruto, who noticed her confusion, whispered. Your mother sent me here to rescue you, Kunu. Stay silent for now. We can talk later. Kunu, who heard this, calmed down and nodded her head. Naruto, who saw this, grinned at her and removed her bindings and said. Alright, I am going to get you back to your home, alright? Don't let go of my hand. Kunu nodded her head. Naruto then flashed both of them away with a Hiraishin and left Kunu at the palace gates. He had marked the place just in case there was an emergency, which turned out to be pretty handy now. Alright Kunu, get inside and find your mother. I will take care of the people who kidnapped you, alright? Thanks Mr. Naruto, please take care of yourself and come back safely. Said Kunu, confident in her savior's skills. Alright then kid, you go find your mother now. She's been worried sick all day. Kunu didn't need to be told twice. She rushed inside the palace to find her mother. Naruto then went back to the mill to take care of the rest of the problems. He then smirked and thought. Alright, in 3, 2, 1 now. He formed a hand seal and in the next second they heard a lot of explosions outside. What was that? An explosion. All of you. Go check outside. If you see any intruders then delay them as much as you can. I will go secure the brat. Said a female Kamitachi who Naruto assumed to be the elder. Once the others left with their orders. The female Kamitachi came to find Kunu but couldn't find her. All alarms went off inside her head. However, she wasn't given time to think when she noticed a presence behind her closely approaching her. She moved away from a Naruto who came to chop behind her neck. Though he missed, he gave her an annoying smirk and said. Surprise motherfucker. You are that lackey the fallen bastard had sent, aren't you? You have no business here. This isn't an internal affair of the yokai. Shouted the elder. She immediately cast some wind blades and hurled them at Naruto. Naruto dodged the blades and said. First of all, I am not Azazel's lackey. Business partners would be a better term. He then made some hand seals and shouted out while grinning. Second of all, isn't normal for a gentleman to help a woman in need in this world. Wood release. Plant spore release. Some plants emerged from the ground and released spores. The elder used some wind to push away the spores, but it turned out to be pointless as there was no effect. The spores just came back. "Why is my magic not working?" shouted the elder in disbelief. Naruto said with a deadpan look, "Seriously? Are you an idiot or do you not just think? Do you honestly think that you could get rid of the spores in a closed space by using wind magic in a place where there is no ventilation?" The elder could only watch hopelessly as she fell to the ground paralyzed. This technique is a nice one only when it catches the opponent by surprise or by force. The problem is that it only affects beings with chakra like you yokai. "Now then, let's get out of here before the others show up," said Naruto, releasing the jutsu which withdrew all the plants which disappeared underground. Naruto then sealed the paralyzed elder in a scroll and used the Hiraishin to flash away. The guards who went on alert were a second late as they entered the warehouse just after Naruto escaped. Some of them had noticed the remnant spores and were quick enough to warn the others. They used some magic to clear the space together but still couldn't find any sign of the elder or the fox yokai. They then decided to retreat back to one of the other elders and inform them. Meanwhile, Naruto flashed into the palace to find the awaiting daughter and mother pair who were hugging each other. He silently stood there until the pair separated and noticed their visitor. Yusaka was the first one to speak. "I thank you very much for bringing my daughter back to me, Naruto. My daughter also told me about her encounter with you and you have my gratitude for helping her in her time of need," said Yusaka. Naruto responded, "It's not a big deal, Yusaka. I would have done what I did either way whether it was Kunu or not." Yusaka shook her head, "It is hard to find such chivalry in this world these days. People would rather work for their benefits or ignore those in need not wishing to get involved." Naruto grinned and said, "Well, it is who I am, I guess. I will take what you said as a compliment. Now though, I came here for a different purpose." Yusaka tilted her head slightly to the right as did Kunu, and both sporting a bewildered expression on their face. "CQ taught Naruto." He then coughed and snapped out of it as quickly as he got into it and said, "I have captured one of the elders. One by the name of Kazuhana. I trust she will be of use to you." Yusaka nodded her head and said, "Yes, please bring her here. I will interrogate her myself." "Excellent," said Naruto and unsealed the scroll. Kazuhana immediately poofed into existence, surprising both Kitsune yokai. "Wow," said Kunu, not hiding her surprise. Yusaka mentally filed the questions on how he did that for later and immediately started interrogating the Kamitachi then and there. She had asked Kunu to stay by her side so that she learns how the world works. Kunu was to be the next leader of Kyoto yokai after Yusaka and it was required of her to know the workings of this world, no matter how much Yusaka hated doing this to her young daughter. The elder was tight-lipped at first, but some amount of killing intent from the strongest yokai was able to make her talk out of fear. She told them that they had been planning this for a while now and chose to strike now as the interim peacetime wouldn't affect the different factions from targeting them. Though the elders were power-hungry, they did take appropriate measures so that not all yokai were harmed, at least the ones who support them. Once they learned everything they can from her, they confined her in a prison built inside the palace and placed some restraining seals on her so that she doesn't escape. Itachi arrived at the right time with the info about the elders. He was able to get enough evidence on their corruption and their various hidden agendas with some of the other factions. Ones that could implicate them in a bad light among the yokai. To say Yusaka was pissed would be an understatement as the three were forging alliances behind her back. The next morning she announced the treasonous actions of the elders and labeled them as criminals. Suffice to say that the general yokai population was pissed. Those who were involved with the three elders were arrested and those who supported them indirectly were too scared to oppose the ruling faction and went into hiding. The remaining two elders tried to run away from Kyoto but couldn't do so because Naruto helped catch them before they did. None of those directly involved were pardoned and most of them were awaiting to be executed for insurrection and high treason. The Kitsune, Nakeashi, was the only one who was let off easy. He was pardoned from the execution because of his actions of helping Yusaka bring them to justice as soon as he read the files Itachi had shown him, as ordered by Naruto. However, easy didn't mean scot-free as he had to be exiled from Kyoto for 30 years. The eight-tailed Kitsune manned up to his actions and did not protest. He left without any form of defiance and admitted that he was in the wrong. Though this didn't lessen his sentence, it did improve his standing among the general populace. The entire ordeal was completed in less than 3 days. The remaining elders of the council were ones who were loyal to Yusaka. So Naruto's job was pretty much over when Yusaka spoke with the council and got the additional terms of the alliance signed without any opposition. Naruto then decided to relax in Kyoto for a while. He had taken a liking to Kunu during his stay in the palace. She reminded him slightly of Himawari when she was at Kunu's age and Naruto decided to spend some time with her as he saw that she was quite lonely. Soon Yusaka joined in their bonding sessions, and all three of them came to enjoy their time together. Now, the day had come where Naruto had to leave, or so he said. Azazel asked him to meet up somewhere outside of Kyoto. "Well then, this is farewell for now," said Naruto with a smile. "Will you be coming back, uncle?" asked Kunu with a slight amount of sadness that he was leaving so soon. Naruto grinned, rubbed her head with his hand, and said, "Of course. I will visit you the next time I am around these parts." Kunu, who saw the way he grinned, gave a fox grin of her own with her eyes closed. It was something she picked up from Naruto. Misaka said, "Take care, Naruto. Please return safely from your endeavors." Naruto firmly shook his head and said, "Of course, Yusaka." Misaka had mixed feelings about Naruto leaving them. In the short time they spent together, Yusaka had found warmth and closeness in between them that she never had before. She understood that Naruto had to leave, but did not think it would be this soon. She asked him to stay a few more days with them, but he told her that he had something important to do and that it couldn't be delayed. Misaka found Naruto to be a good friend of hers. Though she did feel an enormous amount of gratitude towards him as it was due to his actions that her daughter and her regime as leader are safe, she also felt the feelings of being attracted to him. Though he wasn't exactly the definition of attractiveness with a big belly and that bushy facial hair of his, scratch that, he was very unattractive, him being human too didn't help in the matter, but he did more than make it up for it with his warmth and charm. She was not sure if she was feeling a sexual attraction or an attraction one had towards a close friend or a sibling. The pair were able to feel relaxed with each other so much that Yusaka considered asking Naruto out, but her duties and her hesitation stopped her from doing so. In the end, she remained silent while watching him leave. Next time, she thought. I will confirm my feelings and ask him out the next time we meet. Naruto then left, unaware of the inner turmoil he had caused inside Yusaka's heart. Azazel had asked him to meet up in the outskirts of Kyoto, and so he did. He went to their meeting spot to find the fallen governor general waiting for him. "What took you so long?" Feeling reluctant to leave a certain Kitsune's company, asked Azazel in a perverted voice. "Oh, shut up. Did you do what I asked for?" asked Naruto with a serious tone. Azazel turned serious too and nodded his head. Normally opening a pathway to the dimensional gap would require a lot of energy as the caster doesn't know where to go. The dimensional gap doesn't exactly have coordinates, so any form of teleportation spell fails due to instability. The gap does not follow the rules of time and space. It is erratic and dynamic. Only the three great beings can enter the area freely. Azazel then took out a small shiny cube-like thing in his hand and said, "This device I have in my hand allows me to stabilize the portal by lowering the energy requirements. It took me the time to find the materials for making this baby. I won't go any further with the technical details." "Alright then, let's do this," said Naruto. "Wait a moment. We will do this after you coat yourself with nature energy," said Azazel. Naruto looked at Azazel with confusion and looked for clarification. Azazel sighed and said, "The dimensional gap is outside the confines of time and space. Like I told you, it is erratic. We are beings that follow time and space. So an existence like ours cannot exist outside the confines. The dimensional gap will corrode you into nothingness. Coating with magic or any other form of energy will prevent the process." Naruto understood what Azazel was on about and said, "Alright then, give me a moment." Naruto then slowly gathered nature chakra and entered sage mode. Azazel, who saw this happen before his eyes, were fascinated by the experience. He thought. Amazing. So this is the feeling of a true sage, huh? Azazel then said, "Alright Naruto, I can only help you get in, not out. Once you are out there, you are on your own. You can only stay there as long as your nature chakra exists. Use any form of teleportation spell you know to get out. Any longer and you will start to be slowly erased from existence. Try not to anger the big guy, alright?" Naruto, who heard what Azazel said, nodded his head. Azazel opened the portal with the help of the device. "Good luck Naruto. Hope you get the answers you seek." Naruto then mentally made a link with Kurama. "Kurama, it's time. Let's sync." "Why here? We could do it when we go inside." "No. It's been made abundantly clear to me that I can't remain uninvolved in this world. It's time I show them that a being like us exists." Kurama looked at him for a moment and said. "Alright, let's do it." Both Naruto and Kurama synced with each other. Azazel then watched Naruto turn golden with weird lines around his body. The most significant thing though was the formation of a coat on his back and his pronounced whisker marks with his eyes becoming slit orange eyes. However, Azazel didn't have time to think as Naruto had already entered the portal. "What energy? I haven't seen that kind of power since," thought Azazel, but his communicator started acting up. "Azazel? Azazel? Are you there?" said the voice from the communicator once it connected. "Yeah, I am here Barakiel. So you felt that?" asked Azazel knowing what he was talking about. It came by near your location. Do you know what is going on? The energy you're eating is off the charts. It's almost as if said Barakiel, but was cut off by Azazel, who told the rest. As if it was the old man himself come back to life. I know. Said Azazel. What are we going to do about this, Azazel? What do we know of this unknown? Is he a threat? We don't even know if it's a he. Whoever or whatever it is too dangerous to be left unknown. We need to investigate this properly and immediately, Azazel. Asked Barakiel. Leave it for now, Barakiel. Said Azazel. But. You know that the person has the power of the old man. I don't want to risk upsetting this power. If he wants to reveal himself, he will do so when he wishes to. Let's not awaken a sleeping dragon to face its wrath unnecessarily. Said Azazel. Barakiel remained silent for a few moments, contemplating what Azazel said. He then replied. Alright. You're the boss. I don't know what you are trying to protect, old friend, but make sure that he doesn't bring trouble over our heads. Said Barakiel, notifying Azazel of his slip-up. Azazel, who caught on to that, laughed and said, well, I don't know about that, Barakiel. From what I heard, trouble seems to like him and those around him too much. Barakiel replied, that doesn't sound reassuring, old friend. Azazel further laughed and said, relax. I know what I am doing. Believe me that this guy is way more interesting than all the devils from Kuo combined. Dimensional gap. Naruto, who entered the dimensional gap now, asked Kurama. What now, Fuzzbit? We spend 1% of our energy like last time to call the lizard over here. Alright, here we go. Naruto powered up and released his energy enough to cause some unnatural phenomenon in the dimensional gap. They waited for a few moments' time until they saw a crack opening up in front of them. Well, he's here. They waited for a moment to see a big red dragon, but couldn't see one. Well, where is he? Kurama. Asked Naruto, looking for one big-ass red dragon. Kurama stayed silent when Naruto spoke. Kurama. Naruto. Look in front of you. Said Kurama. Naruto then noticed what Kurama was on about and saw the problem. He spoke out. You're not Great Red. I am Office. I want you to join my group and help me defeat Great Red. It was then Naruto realized that he didn't summon Great Red but instead got another one of the three great beings. Office, the Ouroboros dragon. The Infinity Dragon. The Gothic Lolita Dragon of DxD. Hit. Yeah. I know I already said this once, but let me just say it again. Fate really likes to fuck with you. You can say it 1,000 times and I will still agree with you. End. Chapter 8. Now there they were with Office, one of the other great beings, not the one they intended to summon. What now, Kurama? Asked a troubled Naruto. I don't know, Kit. Said Kurama with the same amount of cluelessness as Naruto and added, execute plan GTFO for real this time. What? Don't be absurd, Kurama. We need to talk with Great Red. It was your plan anyway. Why are we bailing out now? Asked Naruto. I know, Kit, we don't know what this one intends of us. We can't risk making enemies when Kagaya is on the prowl. Said Kurama with forethought. We might not get another chance to speak with Great Red like this again, Kurama. I doubt Office will let us go either. She seems to have a plan for us. Said our trusty blonde. While Naruto and Kurama were having their internal debate on what to do, Office made her presence known and said. You will help me fight Great Red and regain my home once again. Your home? Asked Naruto. Office nodded and said. The dimensional gap is my home. I want to regain my eternal silence here, but Great Red stands in my way. He needs to be killed. So you will help me along with the others in my group. Naruto, who heard this, looked at Kurama. Both eyed each other and said at the same time. Yep, she's crazy, yep, she's crazy. There was a few moments of silence. Naruto looked at Office with a scrutinizing eye and then made his decision and said. Yeah, that's not happening, Office. I have my own problems and I require some assistance from Great Red on it. Said Naruto. What help do you require? I will help you and you will help me. Said Office, not backing off. She didn't exactly know how strong Naruto was, but she definitely knew that he will be able to help her defeat Great Red all by himself. She might not even need the others in her little band. Kurama? Asked Naruto. Kurama shook his head and said, she may be the Dragon of Infinity, but our matter is not worth enough to fight against Great Red for her. Naruto sighed and shook his head. He said, look, I am sorry, Office, but you have to find someone else to fight for you. I am not interested in fighting Great Red. So please leave me alone. Office looked at Naruto for a moment and judged her next move. She said, you will not help me when I ask you politely, therefore I must convince you in a different way. She immediately attacked Naruto with one of her spells. Naruto dodged and moved away from Office. Kurama said to him, irritated, smooth-talking dumbass. Now you have done it. I specifically told you not to make any more enemies than we might already have. Boy. How can I be blamed for this mess? You heard her. She is practically deadest on us helping her out. Asked Naruto in an equally irritated tone. This is not the time for arguing, kid. Look up front when you are battling. Said Kurama. Naruto noticed the spell coming his way and dodged it. Office then lunged forward towards her and threw some snakes from her hand. Fuck snakes. Why does it have to be snakes every fucking time? Focus, kid. She is charging up for a big one. Said Kurama. Naruto then noticed that Office was charging her magic for a big spell, thus he prepared to counter the technique with his own. Alright. Time for a tailed beast bomb. Said Naruto, preparing a gigantic tailed beast ball that was ready to be fired. Office fired her spell at Naruto, which looked like a purple wave. Naruto fired the tailed beast bomb at the wave, and the resulting explosion threw both Office and Naruto off by a few hundred meters. This didn't stop either of them as they both continually fired off big destructive magic and chakra techniques. The result was a draw. Naruto was not exhausted, but the flurry of chakra techniques did cause him to lose a little in his reserves. How is she able to continually fire that much magic? She doesn't even look like she broke a sweat. Her magic reserves shouldn't be that big. Thought Naruto. Kurama sighed and said, it's not the magic reserves, it's the place we are in. Look at her closely, Naruto. Naruto did that and noticed what Kurama was talking about. He asked, is she drawing energy from this place? Kurama explained, this is her home turf, Naruto. We cannot beat her here. Anywhere else it might be easy, but this place helps her regain the lost energy as it is closely bonded to her. Ah, damn it. At that moment though, Naruto felt another energy besides them. Is that? Asked Naruto. Damn, red lizard shows up at the worst time possible. Said Kurama. He's here. Said Office, showing the slightest amount of negative emotions. The crack opened up beside them and out came a terrifyingly large red dragon with 2 pairs of wings. He might not be opening his mouth to speak, but all of them were able to clearly hear what he thought. Oi, you bastards. Which one had the fucking nerve to interrupt my super awesome, amazingly beautiful and extravagant stunt? Huh. Tell me, oh, it's you, Office. Said Great Red. He had a deep guttural voice that sounded like a male. Don't call me casually, Baka Red. Give me back my home. Said Office. Nope. I love this place as much as you do. I still want to do my stunts here. If you want solitude so much, find someplace else. Said Great Red. I will get this place back from you someday. Said Office. Ah, try and get it from if you can, crybaby Office. Said Great Red. He then looked at Naruto and Kurama and added, why the fuck are you guys here? We had an agreement to never face each other again, didn't we, Naruto Uzumaki? We have a problem, Red, and we need your help with that. Said Naruto. My help? You can kiss my ass and say goodbye. I am not helping you in any way. Said Great Red and added, in fact, I have a score to settle with you for interrupting my stunt a second time. Office. You are also not getting away easily this time. So let's fight. Great. Now what? Said Naruto. Now we fight. Said Kurama and further added with a grin, it has been a while since we had a good old-fashioned spar, didn't we? So we go all out? Asked Naruto with a grin. We kick their asses. Fuck sparing energy. Said Kurama, ready to go all out. Naruto then released all of his and Kurama's power. He was able to retain the size of a fully grown 9-tailed fox, coming up to half the size of Great Red. If it's a fight you want, it's a fight you get. Said Naruto. I don't want to fight in this battle, but since you are not going to allow me to go outside without one, said Office, but she was no longer holding back. She started to change as her clothes disappeared with a bright light. She was transforming into a big dragon until she retained the same size as Naruto and Kurama. She looked like a huge snake with black scales that shined purple when illuminated. She had a single pair of wings and 2 pairs of short limbs. I am going to kill you now. Office and Naruto then charged at Great Red. Unusual for his size though, Great Red was moving equally as fast. All 3 of them were involved in a terrifying smackdown. Naruto was firing tailed beast bombs at Great Red while Office was using her magic at him. Great Red flinched when some of the attacks hit him and then he turned serious. Alright. Now you guys have done it. Said Great Red. Well, the guy is officially pissed off. Careful, Naruto. Said Kurama, warning Naruto of the huge laser beam that came his way. Naruto, who noticed it, dodged it by a hair's breadth and sighed. Great Scott. That was too close for comfort. Said Naruto, imitating a foreigner to relieve the tension. Yeah. Though it seems that Office isn't as lucky as we are. Said Kurama. Office got hit by the laser beam, backed off, but she was slowly starting to regenerate the wounds. Naruto then fired off another tailed beast bomb at Great Red, but the attack just passed right through him. What the? Naruto wasn't given time to think as a tail attack of Great Red swept him away. It did a lot of damage to him, breaking all his ribs, but since he was in Kurama's chakra mode, he was able to regenerate quite easily. What the hell was that? That's why I am called the Dragon of Dreams. I am the dragon who mocks the concept of reality. I turn reality into fantasy and fantasy into reality," said Great Red. This time he charged more than 10 laser beams at Naruto and fired them simultaneously. The fuck? Does that mean anything he thinks or dreams will become real? Fuck, that's way too op. He was not this serious the last time we faced him," said Naruto with a pale face. He continued to dodge the laser attacks fired at him, but the last one made his way into him. Kurama's chakra construct was able to take the attack, but it's still considerably large damage on Naruto. Great Red attacked again, but this time the Great Being used a bunch of mortal spells greatly amplified with his magic power. Naruto used a bunch of elemental chakra techniques to counter them, but all turned useless as Great Red just turned them from reality to illusion. Naruto dodged the technique's range just in time. He couldn't find a weakness and panicked. "Shit. What do I do? Do I have to use 6 paths mode already?" thought Naruto. Now is not the time to panic, brat. Think. Every technique has a weakness. Didn't we already face another one like this? How did we beat that kid, Obito? Asked Kurama while advising Naruto on how to act by using Itachi's words and philosophy. Obito? That was different. He was using a spatial distortion to avoid our attacks. The only way we beat him, said Naruto as he turned silent at the second half. He smiled at Kurama and then proceeded to attack Great Red. He made a bunch of shadow clones and all of them lunged at Great Red with some amount of Kurama's chakra. "I already told you it's useless. Any and all attacks I see are ineffective on me," said Great Red. The clones who went in automatically dispelled, but one of them managed to throw a kunai in near Great Red's eye. Great Red merely dodged it by thinking upon it as an illusion and it passed through. Naruto and Great Red repeated the process several times and exchanged a couple of blows with their fists. Naruto was now slightly exhausted as he used up 20% of his reserves. Great Red didn't break a sweat though he was firing laser beams and using energy to amplify the power of his arms. Naruto figured that it had to be because of the place they were in, just like his earlier battle with Office. "Cease resisting. The last time we fought was merely a formal spar. This time I am fighting you seriously, so prepare to die for real," said Great Red and moved his claws forward to grab Naruto. Naruto waited over there in a defensive position ready to dodge, but also started charging up a tailed beast ball. He then thought. Now. He then fired a tailed beast bomb at Great Red, who did the same thing with the attack again. However, when he thought that he dodged the attack, he felt a blow on many spaces near his torso and neck. "What the?" thought Great Red. It was then he noticed that there were 6 great purple balls fired from 6 different Narutos at different locations from behind. The problem with your technique is that you need to see the attacks coming at you for you to judge it to be an illusion. Your manipulation of fantasy and reality can be for a short duration, as it's only applicable on inanimate objects," said Naruto. Great Red, who took major damage from the attacks, looked at him and laughed. He then said. "Ahahaha, you got me good this time, Naruto Uzumaki. You have my respect. However, you are wrong on one part. It's not only inanimate objects, but I can manipulate the reality of living objects too," said Great Red, phasing an Office through him who came to slash her claws at him and roared. Naruto, who saw the incoming Office, dodged her, grabbed her by the neck and threw her away. "However, you are the only one person in this world whom I cannot control as you were never born from this universe naturally. The way you came here was breaking the laws of fantasy and reality, so I cannot do anything with you. My control goes as far as the laws holds good." However, for Office, said Great Red, and this time took damage from Office's surprise giant laser attack that cut through one of his wings. "Ah," said Great Red and attacked at Office. Office dodged his attack and gave a beam of her own. She saw that her attack was phased and that she was right in the middle of being clawed by Great Red. She blocked her front with her hands and wings, preparing to block the attack and prepared some shielding spells just in case. However, the attack never came. Instead, Naruto was in front of her holding back Great Red by his wings. "Why did you help me?" asked Office. "Because this battle is unnecessary," said Naruto. "What are you talking about, Naruto Uzumaki? I haven't had this much fun in eons. We are going to continue this battle to the end," said Great Red with a battle frenzy tone while getting away from Naruto's grip. Why does he crave battle so much now? He was very docile and only wanted to do his stunts in peace in the beginning. What made him change? Thought Naruto. Kurama answered him. Dragons are beings of great power. The tailed beasts may be different, but beings of power always yearn for a good battle just like me and my siblings. Is that right? Speaking of which, the others are napping pretty soundly if they cannot hear the mayhem outside, said Naruto through their mental link. We are here, Naruto, and we have been awake for quite a while, said a now active Matatabi. Ah, Matatabi. If you guys were awake then why didn't you guys say so? I could have used your help here. said Naruto. "We were just not bothered with it. You seemed like you could have handled it yourself. Besides, you were not going all out," said Son Goku. "Well, you have a point," said Naruto, but now he saw that it must come to an end. "Seems I have to put a stop to this," said Naruto. He then released his Kurama Chakra Sage mode and came back to his basic Sage mode. He accessed the 6 paths mode. He once again his blazing golden coat with 9 Magatamas on his back. His whisker marks were pronounced once again and weird marks encircled his body. However, this time he manifested 6 black balls that levitated around his back and had 2 black rods in his hand. It was at this moment that both great beings felt confused. They saw that he had turned smaller and began to assume that he turned into a weaker form. They didn't feel any power coming off of him. Great Red turned annoyed at this and shouted at Naruto. "What are you doing, Naruto Uzumaki? Bring back your earlier form. I want to have a good fight now that I am fired up," said Great Red. The office remained silent and contemplated. She wasn't stupid and thoughtless, unlike Great Red who was in a battle frenzy. She knew that Naruto wouldn't have accessed this form without reason. Naruto merely looked at Great Red with a stoic face and said, "I don't have any more time to play with you, Great Red. So let's end this fight." He then looked at Office and said, "I don't know what's going on between you and Red over there and I frankly don't care. You are to end this now." "Ah, who are you to end our fight? You have some pretty big nerve talking like that, mortal," said Great Red and lunged at Naruto with more speed than he ever did before. Naruto merely looked at the attack and stopped him with merely one hand. He then grabbed Great Red and threw him off. What the foo? Great Red wasn't even given enough time to think as Naruto continuously attacked him from all places. He created shadow clones that did the same. It was like looking at a group of bullies grouping on a poor sod and here the poor sod being Great Red. Great Red wasn't even given the chance to get back up. Naruto then lunged forward with a rod. Great Red thought that he could dodge that as it was an inanimate object. However, it was useless as the rod still hit him with a great force, making him fly miles away from his original position. "How did that rod hit me? I thought that it was an object. It should still obey the laws of reality," thought Great Red. Naruto, who heard Great Red's thoughts, explained, "This rod is made of the balls behind me. They are called the Truth Seeker balls. They are made of energy called chakra. They are made of pure energy. Energy still obeys the laws of reality. We may not see it, but it manifests it into many other forms that we perceive as real. How in the world is that thing able to harm me?" asked Great Red with anger and fear in his tone. Naruto answered, "It is energy, yes. But it is energy given a stable form. It erases all kinds of matter that it touches. It is not bound by the laws of physics as it already breaks it by existing. Don't you see the utter blackness? That is because its existence is a contradiction." He then threw all 6 Truth Seeker balls at Great Red's wings, which managed to penetrate his forming various holes in its body. It was the first time ever since birth that Great Red was truly scared of its existence. The being felt utterly scared at the mortal that wielded the power to end his existence. Naruto stoically looked at Great Red and asked, "Now that you have finally witnessed my power, do you still want to fight? I have already proven that I could kill you right here and now. It seems like a waste of time, doesn't it?" Great Red could just nod dumbly at what Naruto said. He thought to himself, "Fuck being brave. I don't want to die just because I pissed off a guy for a petty reason." Naruto then looked at Office and said, "I have neither problems with you, nor do I have any business with you, Office. So let's just stop fighting, shall we?" Office could just dumbly nod her head just like Great Red. "Alright then. Let's wrap this up, shall we?" asked Naruto and then added, "However, I do have some questions that need to be answered, Great Red." Great Red sighed and said, "Though I don't like it. You are right, I am indeed the one that will draw the short end of the stick if I continue to fight you. Dragons are beings that respect those who are equally strong or stronger than themselves. I, Great Red, give you my deepest respect, Master Uzumaki. I hope you forgive me for my previous transgressions." Great Red bowed his head towards Naruto. Naruto just grinned and waved it off. "Forget the formalities with me, Red. Just call me Naruto. Let's bygones be bygones. It's never too late to start as friends, ain't it?" Great Red, who saw this, gave a nod and a grin of his own. He was rather impressed at the humility that Naruto showed, even if he was stronger than himself. It was a trait that he liked about Naruto. He then said, "As you wish, my friend. So what do you need?" said Great Red. "Well, you see. I have a problem. A troublesome woman from my world has somehow made it over here. The last time I checked, I sealed her in another dimension with no way in or out. Though somehow she was able to break it. My friend who is inside of me, Kurama, had a suspicion and wanted to check with you." "Alright then, what is his question?" Naruto turned silent and closed his eyes. The moment he reopened them, his eyes had turned to slit eyes of a fox. He then said in a deep guttural voice, "Great Red. "This is Kurama, I am talking to you by possessing Naruto's body," said Kurama. Bright nodded and motioned Kurama to continue. Kurama then took his cue and asked, "Could you kindly check out the space we entered when we first met you? I and Naruto do not know the exact place we entered from into this world, as only the final coordinates are known to us. The rest are all a blur after you sent us on our way." Great Red nodded and said, "Alright, I know of that area. Let me bring you there." All of them were transported to that area by Great Red, who opened a portal. However, the place they entered was not the same as before. There was a huge black hole present in the area, drawing in everything. "It's just as I thought," said Kurama. "What do you mean, Kurama?" asked a confused Naruto. "Thank you, Great Red. I want you to explain to Naruto about what happened here," said Kurama, switching back to Naruto. Naruto, who had come back to control, asked Great Red, "So do you know of the problem, Great Red? What is that black hole over there? Is that the place we came through?" Great nodded and answered, "Yes, it is indeed the space you entered from. When you entered this universe you caused a hole in space-time continuum. This caused an efflux of dark energy into your universe, creating a field of intense gravitational energy that attracts other forms of energy to it to attain equilibrium once again." Naruto silently nodded. He read various books explaining the space-time continuum when he entered this world, as he thought that it may give him some ideas on the Hiraishin. However, it was then he had a problem. "Wait, if you are saying that the black hole over there is trying to reach equilibrium on this side, then won't it be the same case for the other side? Why isn't my world affected? How come Itachi and the others are still alive and somewhat safe? How is Itachi able to make through to this universe?" Great Red continued, "It might be the case that whatever method you used had allowed you to travel to a different dimension before you came upon the universal wall, if we can term it that way. It means that your world becomes unaffected in return for the dimension where you broke the wall being the one that's affected. Now that brings us to another question. Why does this black hole exist? It should be highly unstable, right?" asked Naruto. He knew that newly born black holes are never meant to be this stable, as he noticed some small planets still existing near them. Under normal conditions, they should have been pulled towards it and crushed by the intense gravitational force exhibited by it. You're right. Under normal circumstances, this place should have already closed up. However, it seems a particular condition has arisen in this case," asked Naruto with a bewildered face. "It seems that this one in the place where you entered had equal amounts of dark energy nearby. Lucky coincidence maybe. I guess it attributes to the fact there is not much matter in this space as there is on your end. An equal amount of matter and energy is flowing in and out of these black holes, stabilizing them. It has achieved a state of dynamic equilibrium." "Wait. Doesn't that mean?" asked Naruto with a very surprised expression. "Yep, you have accidentally built a stable portal to your universe connecting two alternate realities. You could travel back if you want, as the portal is highly stable and thus allowing beings to travel into your world. However, that is only possible when you reduce the amount of power you have to 1% to travel into it without destabilizing the portal. Meaning, you have to be highly exhausted, like the state you were in when you entered this world." "Eyes? Are you awake?" asked Naruto. "Yes, we are, Naruto. We heard everything. It makes a lot of sense now," said Jayuki. "We always wondered why we were not as exhausted as Kurama was when we traveled to this world. It seems most likely that we were traveling here when the portal was still unstable. We expended a lot of energy, and it is even more likely that it may have stabilized the portal. Otherwise, we couldn't exist here," said Jayuki. He may not be an expert with time-space theory like Kurama, he has spent a lot of his years learning it, but he still had some elementary knowledge on the subject. "HMPH, it seems you guys were insanely lucky," said Kurama. "Agreed," said Son Goku, not refuting the statement. "But that still doesn't explain why Kagaya was able to escape the seal or enter this world," said Naruto. "My theory is plausible now, Brad. Great Red has already confirmed what I needed," said Kurama. "So let's hear it. You were avoiding the subject for so long that I thought you were merely guessing," asked Naruto. Kurama narrowed his eyes and answered, "Basically, us coming to this world was a huge mistake." "Huh?" asked Naruto with a confused expression. "When we were breaking through the universal barrier, the energy we released gets converted into form of radiations like light, heat, or those things that humans call UV rays, infrared rays, or gamma rays. My theory is that one of these rays, which hold a particular frequency, was able to resonate with the seal we made on Kagaya. Therefore, the resonance caused damage to the seal. Thus there was a crack in the closed dimension. Kagaya noticed this crack and continuously released energy to make it even bigger, and ultimately she was able to break it completely, allowing her to escape," said Naruto, coming to the same conclusion as Kurama. He understood the situation completely. "Fuck. You are right. This whole thing is my fucking screw up, isn't it?" said Naruto, forming an exasperated face. "And now you know. said Kurama with an equally exasperated tone. God damn it. Thought Naruto, clenching his head. It was his own selfish actions that caused an old enemy of his to break free. Great Red, who noticed Naruto's reactions, could only wonder what was going on. Naruto, who came back to reality, then thought. Forget it. No use driveling about the past. Must focus on the present. Thought Naruto and addressed Great Red. Red, I have my answer now. Thank you very much. It helped me understand a lot of stuff, said Naruto, bowing his head. Great Red waved his hand off and said, it is nothing. A small favor for a friend, that's it. Naruto grinned and said, well, it seems that you are alright for a good friend, Red. Naruto then turned serious and told Great Red, look Red, I have to be honest with you. The troublesome woman who came to this universe is a being that's above me in terms of power level. I am almost near her the way I am, but still, it would be a tough battle if I were to battle her by myself. I don't know where she is now, but there is a chance you may be in danger. Great Red, there were no words to describe Great Red's feelings of insecurities right now. He already had to deal with one being that could kill him, but now he hears that there is another such being like that. He did the one thing he could do. He turned himself into a human-like office and said, Naruto, my friend, my homie, my main man, please tell me that you will protect me from this woman. I am already shitting my imaginary pants. Please tell me you will do something. Please. Said Great Red, abandoning all shame and grabbing Naruto's thighs. Naruto asked Kurama and the others, guys, are you seeing this, or am I just dreaming? Kurama responded as if he was seeing a movie. Yes, the strongest being in this universe is hugging your thighs and begging for protection like a princess in distress. Well, it looks like those things that humans call gay porn if you ask me, said Matatabi. Naruto stumbled and asked, what in the actual fuck, Matatabi? Why would you say that? Well, from my position it looks like his head is directly situated over your crotch, so said Matatabi while blushing a little. I don't know where you learned that, but I will tell you this. That is not absolutely holy fucking shit, said Naruto when he finally noticed the position Great Red was in. It was as Matatabi said it was. Naruto then screamed, Guy, get off me Red, just get off me. No. Not unless you give me your word, said Great Red. Naruto looked exasperated and said, fuck. Alright. I will help you, alright. Now just get your head out of my crotch and let go of me, you big lizard. Great Red finally let go. He turned stoic, but internally he was dancing joyfully, thinking about the success his tactic had yielded. It was a thing he learned from the humans: when thou want someone to help you without hesitation, thou must grab their thighs and never let go until they say so. Thou must be shameless as thou can be to be the ultimate bitch. Truly, words of wisdom, thought Great Red while wiping the sweat that trickled down his forehead. Naruto didn't know why, but he got the urge to punch the buffoon. However, now he got a proper look at the humanized dragon. The man looked about to be 6'8" in height. It was pretty tall comparing the world standards. He had a buff body to compensate for the height. All in all, he looked like an absolute giant. The man had red hair like his scales. He had a chiseled face that was tan but not too much. He could be mistaken for a Grimoire if it weren't for the fact that he had slit crimson eyes and purple pupils. He was wearing a traditional purple European shirt and pants, along with a red tailcoat over him. He had an air of dominance around him, but it was kind of reclusive around Naruto. Naruto, who took in his appearance, said, well, why didn't you take this form when you were talking to me before? Great Red said, well, this appearance of mine is kind of a drag. I don't like it that much as it confines my freedom of movement. Naruto then sighed and said, once again continuing where he left off, well then. Like I was telling you, this woman is rather troublesome, but she's more likely to be weak right now as she had to spend a lot of energy to break her prison. So I assume she's in hiding and regaining her strength. He continued, I doubt she has any form or kind of interest in you, as her main concern is with my world and its people. So I doubt you would be targeted. However, if you do face her, I want you to be extra careful, alright? Just run to another dimension where she couldn't follow you. Naruto then described Kaguya to Great Red. He told her about the techniques she uses and ways he can avoid her. Great Red nodded his head and gave a thumbs up. Alright, thanks for the information. I will contact you if I spot her anywhere near me. Naruto nodded at his words and further added, well then I guess we can wrap it up for now. I do have another thing though. I will be staying here to train in this area to regain my top form. As you can see, my movements were a bit stiff and I need to be battle ready if I need to fight her head on. Great Red said, of course. You can use this area however you want. If you want a sparring partner or anyone to talk to, then just call me the way you did before. I will be here in a jiffy. Though I hate to admit I lost, it was kind of fun battling against you. Naruto gave Great Red a grin and said, thanks Red, much appreciated. Great Red then turned back to his old size and left. Now where to start? Said Naruto out loud. If you want to train, I can help you," said a voice. Naruto turned to see the child office he first saw. She was standing there with a stoic face. The office had silently watched the entire conversation between Great Red and Naruto without voicing anything. To say that she was surprised by a lot of things that Naruto said and did was an understatement. Damn, I forgot about her the entire time. "Well, the girl is saying that she can help us. Let's ask her how," said Kurama. "Good question. Alright office. How are you going to help us?" asked Naruto. "If I understood what you were talking about with Baka Red correctly, then you need some time to get back into shape, don't you?" Naruto stayed silent. Office continued. "I can give you that time. I can use my powers to reduce the speed of time in a particular space I created so you can use it to train however you want," said Office. She then further added. "However, I have to give you my blessing for you to be affected by this." Naruto remained silent thinking about the offer on the table. Before he went to say no, Kurama interrupted him. Accept the deal." "What? Why?" "The time-space continuum here is pretty erratic in the dimensional gap, flowing at different rates. Though there's not much of a difference. From what I understand by some of the clones you left in the main world, an hour here may be 10 there, and an hour there may be 10 here, that is if we go by the maximum range. It's not constant. If Office can create a field where it is made constant, then it is perfect for us as we know the exact time we need to leave. We will be able to use our time efficiently," said Kurama. "The blessing. It can be erased with 6-pass mode, even if I can't do it. You know what you have to do." Naruto understood what Kurama was talking about. He left some clones in the real world under the orders of Kurama. Now he finally understood the use for them. He came to a decision and said. "Alright office, say we accept your offer, what do you want in return?" "I want you to join my army. However, I realize that I am not in the position to demand you as you are much stronger than I am. I will still help you regardless," said Office in a rare bout of maturity. Naruto, who was bewildered, asked, "Why do you help me even though you know that I won't help you in return?" The Office said in a mature tone, unlike her childish way of answering as she did before. "You interest me, Naruto Uzumaki. I help you because you interest me. You did not need to patiently listen to me when I demanded you, yet you did. You did not need to help me when Great Red attacked, yet you did. I feel a sense of respect and gratitude that I need to repay. Thus I am doing it in the best way I think is possible for me." Naruto, who heard that, was slightly embarrassed. He knew that she meant nothing by it, but it was still a compliment. All forms of suspicion were thrown out the window when Office said that. Naruto made his decision. "Alright Office. I accept your offer. I won't most definitely join your army, but once my issue is dealt with, I can promise you that I will help you and Great Red come to a compromise." The Office, who heard the promise, offered Naruto a ghost of a smile and nodded her head. "Alright then, let's do this." The Office then started casting her magic. Once she was done creating the field, she gave Naruto her blessing through one of her snakes. To say that Naruto was not in the tiniest bit reminded of Orochimaru's curse mark on Sasuke was a terrible mistake. Fuck. This is exactly just like that pedophile's curse mark, thought Naruto. "You still haven't forgiven that snake, have you?" asked Kurama. "Of course. I still don't like the bastard. The only reason I let him be was that he promised me that he won't harm any humans. Besides, he did help out with some problems of the village with his research," said Naruto. "I have always wondered what that snake's gender was. Is he a man or a woman?" asked Kurama. "Beats me. I asked his kid Mitsuki the same detail, but even he is not sure. All I know for sure is that he's a creepy old dude in a young body," said Naruto. "Haha, well, you have no right to complain in that regard," said Kurama. Yeah, fuck you too, asshole. Dipshit. Fuzzbit. Sasuke's little ball boy. The fuck was that, you furball with daddy issues? Say that again, brat. I dare you. I said it once already, furball. Seems your rabbit ears are not helping with your hearing, is it? Grrrrrrrrr, come here you little shit. It's time I teach you some manners. Oh yeah. It's time I disciplined you, you disobedient furball. Here we go again, said Matatabi. Well, it happens all the time. I guess humans call it brotherly love, said Chimay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, said Jayuki. All of them entered the sub-dimensional space while this internal discussion fight was going on in Naruto's mind. Naruto had returned back to reality in a few moments' time. He then saw Office, who looked at him. Office explained, the time here is much slower than the outside world. I have decided to reduce it by 8 times. This is the maximum limit this space can hold without breaking apart. So, 8 months inside would only be a month in the human world. Thank you, Office, said Naruto. Office accepted the gratitude and said, I may not have mentioned this before, but I do have another reason to help you. Naruto looked at her with a curious expression. The office continued, although I do want to help you out of gratitude, I also want to continue my own existence. If this lady you speak and describe of is more powerful than you, who is already more powerful than me, then I have nearly 0% chance to survive if she decides to target me. Thus I believe that you may need every help you can. She added further, I am leaving this space now. You can train here in peace. You can leave or enter this place anytime you want to do so. I have given permission for only you or myself to access this place, so no one else will disturb you. Farewell Naruto Uzumaki. The office then left the space without any further interaction. So she's scared, huh, thought Naruto. She is a being that has existed in this world since the beginning. She has lived a life of facing no threats to her life. Thus it is logical for her to fear death when there exists a being that can kill her. Said Kurama. Never mind her. We have our goal now. Since this space was created by Office, we don't need to worry about the time limit for using our energy to continuously stay here. You can release the chakra mode and train normally. Said Kurama. Yeah, that's true. I am going to use this opportunity I got to its fullest potential. I already have food supplies and training material to last several years, so I don't think I am going to have any problems with this change of plans. Said Naruto, and he performed the cross hand sign. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Nearly 1,000 clones were created in an instant with Naruto's chakra. He then organized each clone into groups and had them train in one of the shinobi art forms. May it be basic chakra control or making new seals or mastering new elemental jutsu. While they did that, Naruto did his best to reduce his body weight as soon as he can. He continuously exercised like Rock Lee till his bones broke and his muscle tore. Kurama then healed him with his chakra and Naruto once again restarted the process. 7 months and 29 days later. Naruto was training like crazy in the spatial field. He had finally stopped doing so when an alarm clock went off from his phone. I still don't understand how these little beauties work. Said Naruto. It's better not to question some things you don't understand, Naruto. Said Kurama. Well, it's the last day. So let's just relax. Said Naruto, ending his training. Naruto had changed a lot. He was a lot fitter and he finally lost all forms of fats on his body. He now had an athlete's body with compact muscles. If one sees Naruto now, then they definitely wouldn't be able to relate with him. Naruto took out a mirror from a bag. He looked at himself and said. Fuck. Look at that beard. I look like that guy, what's his name? Obama bin Laden. It's Osama bin Laden. Yeah, your beard is long. So is the hair on your head. Said Kurama. Naruto looked like a wild man with all the hair covering up his face. Naruto immediately formed a shadow clone and instructed it to cut his hair. The clone did so. He first cut his hair and shaved the beard on his face. Naruto unclothed himself and created a small tub out of wood style. He asked the clone to use water style to shower him. He created another clone and instructed it to fill the tub with water and heat it. The clones did so and finally, Naruto relaxed in the bath. Once he cleaned himself, Naruto made his way out of the tub and took a towel to dry himself. He then took some spare clothes from his bag and got dressed. He wore an orange coat that looked like the fourth Hokage's. Instead of words, there was a deep red Uzumaki spiral on it and there was nothing else. He wore a plain black t-shirt underneath with black Anbu pants and red shinobi sandals. Now that the hair was out of the way, his face looked much more clear. It looked oval, brimming with energy. His whisker marks, which were not noticeable before due to his facial hair, looked much more visible due to him completely shaving his beard. His hair had retained its length during his teenage years. He looked much more like his father than he ever did before. Well looking sharp, Naruto. Though the things you are wearing now are kind of over the top. Said Matatabi, giving Naruto fashion advice. Well, I didn't have any other clothes on me. This was all I had. Plus it's not over the top, I just look fabulous. Said Naruto. HMPH. Once an idiot, always an idiot. Said Kurama. Boy. Enough brat. Let's just get out of here. We have waited long enough and trained sufficiently. Yeah. Naruto in his training time took to working hard like never before. He hadn't been given this much time to train ever in his life other than that training trip with Jiraiya. He sparred with the tailed beasts and mastered each chakra nature to a terrifying degree. The Mokuton ability he had was also mastered completely. He had gained the ability from the Hashirama cells that Sakura used to regenerate his arm. He was able to unlock the ability as Madara did in the latter half of his life, but he hadn't trained in its techniques that deeply because he gained it just after he lost Hinata. However, now was a different case. Office stopped by from time to help him. Great Red also accompanied him for some time as he had access to all dimensions unilaterally. So he was the one exception to Office's rule. He was confident that he was at a level now. He packed his materials in a seal and nodded. Alright, let's return. He then formed a hand sign and flashed in a form of yellow. Kuo. Naruto decided to enter the ORC building first and greet everyone, but it seems that the ORC already had visitors. Naruto flashed outside and knocked on the door and entered. "Hey everyone, I am O. It seems I am interrupting something," said Naruto looking at a couple of new faces. He noticed a bunch of beautiful young girls in various outfits surrounding a blonde-haired man in a flashy white shirt that screamed, "Hey, I sell cocaine. Want to buy a pack?" Nearby was an adult lady that stood out. She had silver hair and a voluptuous body. Oddly though, Naruto noticed that she was dressed in a blue maid outfit. "She looks hot," thought Naruto. "Hello there, it seems I am interrupting something so I will come back at a later time," said Naruto turning to leave the room. Though the man in white did not allow Naruto to leave and fired a fire spell at the door. He then impatiently asked Naruto, "Who the hell are you, human? How dare you interrupt Riser's meeting with his lovely Rias? Announce yourself." Naruto did not lose his cool over the arrogant behavior of the one called Riser and said, "Who, me? I am nobody important. I am Naruto Uzumaki, just a gardener hired by this school. The important question here is though," said Naruto slowly moved towards the Gremory group. He stood in the middle of the redhead's peerage along with Kaneko. He tense head with his hand relaxing her stiff shoulders and continued talking. "Who the hell are you, Chikenshit? And what if Naruto Super Devil High School DxD end here and thanks for watching my video till the end.